Kincade and Salciunas is on the air. Broadcasting live on the Fanatic app and YouTube channel. Here are your hosts, John Kincade and Andrew Salciunas. 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
Well, unfortunately, for the second day of this week, we get to start the show with that feeling in your stomach after, men know what I'm talking about here. You get kicked in the junk. That was last night against the Detroit Red Wings. Flyers lose to Detroit 4-2 at the Xfinity Mobile Arena. And John, it was such a bummer because the Red Wings take the 1-0 lead. Coop's off from school today. It's Good Friday.
Okay.
So Coop got to stay up a little later yesterday.
Oh, that's fun. What was he watching?
He was watching with me. And usually second period is bedtime. So I usually miss the second period every single night the Flyers play, unless I'm peering at the phone on the Hulu. But you know me, I'm an involved father. I don't want to be staring at the screen and not reading the little blue truck to my son. So we watched the Flyers tie it at 1. And man, we were rocking. And then the rest of the game played out. And that's a bummer because that's now 2 straight big losses for the Flyers. The other night, everything went their way except for their own game. And then yesterday, when you have a chance to still continue to fight, you lose 4-2.
Yeah, it was tough. And the backbreaker being, you give up a goal right after you make it 3-2. You give up a goal 15 seconds later.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah.
But the referees were, and I never do this. The referees sucked last night.
Yeah, the situation with Martone yesterday
it was terrible.
Just weird. Was that a let's keep the 19-year-olds?
Yes.
Let's teach him a lesson.
He's got a reputation of being a yapper. He's got a reputation of being a guy that's going to get he's a chirper. That's what he is. But we're going to teach this 19-year-old learn his place.
I see Travis Konechny chirp every day.
But Travis Konechny is a veteran.
Yeah, but he was chirping.
Oh yeah,
he was chirping 10 years ago. Travis Konechny.
They're trying to teach this youngster a lesson, and it's bull.
Yeah,
that was terrible last night. That was sophomoric last night. What we saw, that was terrible.
Yeah, Cody acting like a little beach.
Yeah,
good work by you, Connor.
Very good, Connor. I'm going to be shocked if if the referee's not disciplined.
How about that?
Because that is not how a official is supposed to conduct themselves. I don't know if Mert's in today with John Marks, but I can tell you that's not how an official is supposed to act.
So
he's screaming. At one time he's yelling in Martone's face.
Like you, how you just said you normally don't do the whole referee thing. Mert actually tweeted last night, I usually defend the refs to a degree and understand the job is tough. That said, this is way out of line and, frankly, an embarrassing look for referee Cody Beach.
I mean, it was a embarrassing look.
He's grabbing the kid by the jersey. He's sending him to the bench. He's giving him a talking to. Who are you? Is it his father? What are we doing here,
It was like he was going to upstage the night.
Right.
It was like going to be the referee was going to make it all about him last night with Martone. And by the way, they talk about it in basketball all the time. Is a young player good enough to create their own shot? Porter Martone is a player much better than Mishkov right now as far as has the ability to create himself some space and create his own shot. He is going to be fun to watch as he matures into his body, as he gets more and more experience. He was all over the place.
Yeah, and that's a great takeaway because we still understand that this year isn't about winning the Stanley Cup for the Flyers.
It wasn't even about – this year was not about making the playoffs.
No, but –
despite wanting it.
The fact that we were able to get up for an April game – April now, right? Like last week we were saying, man, how cool is it that we can get up for a game in March? Yesterday we were getting up for a game in April, and unfortunately they lose 4-2 on 4-2.
And tonight's the night. That, again, now you get into the real stuff.
So tonight's a major night. All right, today's show, even though, man, yesterday, kicking the nuts, kind of takes away the fervor a little bit. I was ready to come in here, John. First thing, John and I pulled in the parking lot at the same time today. First thing I did when I opened up the door, I had a very Philadelphia moment. I may have dropped the bleep the Flyers. Because I'm so upset.
Which, by the way, I totally get it.
Yeah, no, it was an out of love bleep the Flyers. It's not like I hate the organization.
No, but I get it.
F the Flyers. I was so upset because this morning I was so ready to come in here today. Flyers, Sixers tonight. Big moments for both teams. Big playoff pushes. Sixers trying to hold on to that 6th seed. Flyers, if they won yesterday, where they would have been at in the NHL playoff standings, the wild card standings, still outside looking in, but
it would have been
another night, man.
It would have been a win last night. And everything, by the way, it's wasted opportunities 2 nights this week.
Again,
because
horrible.
everything went their way last night, which keeps everything alive. But you've wasted opportunities. But tonight, again, you now go into the game tonight knowing you can win tonight, win your game. You'll be 4 points behind the Penguins for second place. You win tonight at the Islanders. You would be 1 point behind the Islanders at that point with a game in hand.
With a game in hand, yeah.
1 point behind the Islanders with a game in hand. So you're right there. It's not like you've played yourself out of it, but if you look at the opportunity you had this week, just one of the 2 wins.
Right, you didn't need to go 2-0.
If you just win one of them, you're feeling so much better today. I've heard people say, well, they wasted their opportunity. Only the math challenged believe that they eliminated themselves last night.
Yeah, they didn't get eliminated, but they did. They lost.
Wasted.
They missed on a huge opportunity.
No, they wasted opportunity. And tonight, I really will tell you, tonight just looks monumental. I mean, tonight is a monumental opportunity that you got to have. And look, tonight, treat it like a playoff game. And you are going to have a good viewing party. You're going to have some fun and get out there and enjoy it with the Sixers and the Flyers.
Yeah, Giovanni's Falafel Bar and Grill. I can't
Not
freaking
exactly
wait,
what
man.
you think of when you think of the gigantic April double viewing night. But Giovanni's Falafel Bar, hey, that sounds
I'm in,
good.
Man.
And Corona?
From 6 to 8, putting
That
down
sounds good.
a few Coronas tonight. We got the Sixers in action. It is a Sixers pregame party, but I will ask the bartender to make sure that the Flyers-Islanders game is also on. They both start at 7 o'clock. So tonight's a dual screen night. I said it earlier this week. If you have the ability to go to a bar, go to a bar. A little harder for us with kids. Connor, I am making it mandatory.
For Connor to attend?
Yes, you know what? As your duty to this show, producer Connor Thomas, you need to go out tonight, watch both games at the bar, so that Monday morning when you guys are back, you can talk about how the vibe was and how the fan base was.
No can do there, Captain.
Why?
What's wrong?
Who are the Sixers playing?
Minnesota?
We're in the building, baby.
Oh.
Family grudge match.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, because you get your family going.
All right, well, then you know what? That still works. You can give the vibe of the Xfinity Mobile Arena, especially if Joel Embiid plays. He's listed
That'd be nice.
He's listed as doubtful because of this illness that just it seems to not go away. All right,
wow, it's amazing.
Here's question one, and I'm really sorry to do this to you. I just want to see where people are at. This is not a let's pin the two teams against each other. I'm just curious to see where the people are at, Johnny.
Okay.
What do people think is more likely right now? That the Flyers make the playoffs or that the Sixers hold on to that top 6 seed? Because they could still come up to 5. It's going to be unlikely. Atlanta's still a game and a half up. Because right now, every game matters. And the Sixers have a really difficult stretch starting tonight with the Minnesota Timberwolves. They have a back-to-back, Pistons tomorrow. And then they have another difficult 2 games next week, Spurs Monday night, Rockets on Thursday. So 4 really, really tough games in a span of 6 days for the Sixers. And then the Flyers are outside looking in, but they're still pushing. So what do you believe, Johnny, is more likely to happen? Flyers make the playoffs, outside looking in right now, or the Sixers hold on to one of those top 6 seeds. They're tied with the Raptors right now because the Raptors didn't play us.
Flyers make the playoffs. I just don't like the math with the Sixers as far as I think the schedules are too easy for the others. I think the more likely, especially not knowing the commitment level of players to playing every night, my guess would be that the Flyers would sneak into the playoffs more than the Sixers would sneak into the 6th seed.
Okay.
Because I think the Sixers are going to be the 7th seed and have the opportunity to decide which home game to win.
Sure.
Well,
I lean Sixers because more so the Raptors. The Raptors they're starting to plummet. You know, they were the 5th seed fighting for the 4th seed 3 weeks ago. And now all of a sudden they've dropped as far as the 7th seed. They've lost their last 2 games. And the one against the Kings, that's like inexcusable. They'll bounce back tonight. I fully expect the Raptors to beat the Grizzlies tonight.
So you got to the Sixers would need to your scenario. Sixers sort of would have to sort of win tonight, right? Or not?
You know, depending on which game Embiid decides to play in.
No, but I mean, they to sort of if you want them to beat out the Raptors, because the worst the Raptors are going is 3-3. Would you agree? At Memphis, at Boston, we're thinking that's a split.
Yes.
Right. So the Sixers lose one of these two in the back-to-back. They lose to the Spurs and the Rockets, and they have to win every other game.
Then
Yes.
So the Sixers,
Which they could against the Pacers and Bucks.
The Sixers going 3-3, I think, is the most likely scenario.
And if both teams
Right.
go 3-3, they're in the playoffs, or they're in the 6th seed.
I'm looking at the Raptors as a probable 4-2.
There's a chance, Johnny, that Sunday, April 12th. Will I have landed by then? Yes, I will have landed by then. Sunday, April 12th, 6 p.m. tip-off. It's Sixers win, and they're the 6th seed. And they're playing the Bucks.
And that would be exactly. Doc Rivers would take that as a scheduled loss.
You don't know basketball.
And sorry, Doc. And he'll already have a tea time at Riviera scheduled for Tuesday of that week. And so that would be great. That'd be awesome because the Sixers, my excitement level for a Sixers April is so determinant on that 6th seed.
Yeah.
Because the play-in tournament to me changes everything. Like as far as if you're in the play-in tournament, just the first two opponents, I don't take your chances.
Yeah. And then you get up for a Sixers-Knicks series. Like, let's go.
Sixers-Knicks series is its own.
That's great within its own. That's great.
Its own
that's
drama.
great in the regular season.
It's
so
its own.
You give me
yeah.
a 7-game series,
well,
Sixers-Knicks.
It's 7 games.
Let's go, man. Like I'm all for it. So, what do you think is more likely? Flyers make playoffs, or Sixers hold on to one of those top 6 seeds? That's question 1. That could be our poll today, Dr. Rob.
Oh, it's gonna be.
Damn right it is. You can text the show 610-632-0975. But here's another question because I saw it again yesterday, and I don't totally disagree. All right, John, you're gonna laugh at me.
Okay.
Once again, multiple national media members, because we're making this push for the playoffs in the NBA, are saying that these Sixers are a dangerous team in the Eastern Conference for the playoffs. I know. Do you buy into the quote-unquote Sixers are dangerous angle, or do you just roll your eyes at it at this point?
I just rolled my eyes for the YouTube audience. I roll my eyes. Now, I reserve the right to see them play in April and see them show me that they can be a different animal. And if you go and you play the Knicks, and we're talking about, I'm seeing them play the Knicks, and they win a first-round series against the Knicks, hell, they're dangerous. Until the Sixers prove anything, the Sixers haven't been dangerous in the spring in a quarter of a century. Real dangerous, where it's legitimately dangerous. No. So no, that's a talking point for the debate shows. No, they're not dangerous.
But I understand why they say
it. So do I, on paper.
And that's the thing.
The games aren't played on this.
Well, and sometimes the paper that some companies buy is really cheap, and it rips easily.
It does, or they don't have enough of it.
Or they don't have enough of it.
And you have to, conserve it.
Yeah, and unfortunately, there are a lot of times where Joel Embiid's not around. And once again, like, when I saw Doubtful tonight, that brings me down. Like, tonight's it's a Friday night
why should
at the Xfinity Mobile Arena.
Why should he be doubtful?
I don't know what he's dealing with.
Dude, he was sitting there. He was sitting there the other night saying, "Play me. I'm not being allowed to play." Get off. First of all, put down
the bubonic plague.
First down. Put down Twitter. Put down Twitter. Get off Twitter. This is a playoff push. If I want to take it seriously, get off Twitter, and stop with the if I wanted to play the other night. Well, if you wanted to play the other night, you shouldn't be listed as doubtful for tonight or questionable for tonight. So, and by the way, make it to the film session this morning.
That would be nice.
Meet the obligations of being a player on the team.
That would be nice.
And when they expect you to be there, be there. So, if you want me to take things seriously, how about taking the job seriously?
So, do you buy into the Sixers are dangerous angle, or do you just roll your eyes at it? Look, in terms of this team, as we said on paper, they are, because for the first time in a long time, and this is look, VJ Edgecom. And congratulations to him winning Eastern Conference Rookie of the Month, which is an amazing honor for him. A lot of people were not fond of drafting him to begin with. There was all the Ace Bailey love, and VJ Edgecom has fit this team perfectly. But for the first time in a long time, this Sixers team has a starting 5 and pieces off the bench that can contribute. Obviously, I still feel a certain type of way about the backup big situation, but what else is new? But for the first time in a long time, the Sixers have bench. They have scoring. off the bench. That's something that they never had. They have scoring at all levels, right? When Kelly Oubre is on, and I know he has some streaky nights and then he has some bad nights, but when he's on and that shot's falling, it just makes everybody so much better. When Paul George is finally showing signs of being Paul George that you signed, right? The guy that can go out there and drop 30 for you, or you can have a really impactful 15-point night, and his defense is amazing, which he did the other night against Charlotte this past weekend. It does make them dangerous, but it's all about health and buying in, and I can't do another year of we just didn't have enough time playing with one another because they are dangerous. There's talent. It works. This team actually works. It's not just going through Embiid all the time. There are different ways to score. They could score on the break. They could score off the shot. Tyrese Maxey can create his own. You mentioned Porter Martone being able to create his own shot. VJ Edgecom has shown that he can create his own shot.
Oh, he can.
But if I hear the nonsense of, well, we didn't have enough time to play with one another again, I'm going to lose it.
I love watching the happiest thing for me this year has been to watch development of young players.
Yes.
I like give me something different because what I've seen that's the same is what I truly don't believe in. The same stuff has been what has jaded me. So when I see the enthusiasm of a VJ Edgecombe, when I see the development, the continued development of being an all-star starter status for Tyrese Maxey, I dream about a different Sixers future.
Yeah.
And so I love that. I want to see more of that. The belief that this year could be different by different faces, different youngsters. Bring it on. There's promise. I'll tell you, there's a lot of promise with the Sixers, but the doubt of the old guard. The Sixers are in that just in between.
Well, it's the anchor, right? It's Joel Embiid's health is the biggest thing that's. But we also know that when he's good, man, those sails there's wind, and man, that boat can be flying. Now here's another thing. We talked about this earlier in the week, and look, I would need to pinch myself to see if it was real. Forget the illness for a second, please, Joel. Forget the illness for a second. He has to play both games. And I know that goes against everything that he says, that the team doctors say. This is not just a Joel Embiid thing, right? I know Joel Embiid has sort of taken his health into his own hands this year, but in previous years, it's the team doctors have also said no back-to-backs for Joel Embiid. He has to play both games.
Don't hold your breath.
No, I know, but I'm getting on the record saying, as a big Joel Embiid fan and a big supporter of Joel Embiid, you missed a game this week because of whatever illness that you have. Your knees are good.
He missed a game because he missed a team meeting.
Sure. There's probably a quiet suspension. He's got to play both games. Tonight against Minnesota, tomorrow against Detroit. I can't do hey, look, we just got to get into the playoffs healthy and see what happens. I've done that before. It hasn't worked. You have a better chance of beating the Knicks than you do the Boston Celtics. You have a better chance of beating the Knicks than the Detroit Pistons, depending on Cade Cunningham, right? Like, the better the seed you are, the better of a chance you have to winning. And if you could climb up to the 6th seed, and let's not act like the 5 seed is completely out of reach. You can still get there. He needs to play both freaking games.
I look at you and I say, I look at you all the time and I say.
You look at me as a sad, like it's sad. I know.
I know. I don't look at you as sad. I say it to you. I look at him and I'll say it, and Connor can agree. I say it all the time to you. I said, you're a wonderful soul. Because you approach life with you really do. You look at life with a second chances and a belief system that things can be different and everything. I think it's beautiful the way you live life. I think it's awesome.
Every single day I say Connor's going to be better today.
And I admire it.
Wrong.
And I admire it. But I look at you and I actually do, in a way, sympathize with you that you live life that way, because I say, damn, I know the ending of the movie. He's heading to a car crash, and he's just not putting on the brakes.
Yeah, but there's a lot of YouTube editors out there and Instagram editors out there. Can somebody Can somebody edit somebody did a whole new Game of Thrones ending? Can somebody do a new Sixers ending for me?
Here's what I don't get, though, is people. How about this? People who don't deserve the love and the faith you put in them. you continually give them. And that's where you and I diverge. Like, Joel Embiid misses a game, misses a team meeting, and is ineligible to play. And you're like, yep, but just come on back in. Just come on. Yes. It's the last week. It's the last 2 weeks of the season.
He's got to freaking play, man.
It's the last 2 weeks of the season, and you're like, I don't care if he's not professional. I don't care if he's not committed. I don't care if he's. We need him. It's like the A.J. Brown story with the I don't care what annex he pushes.
I would like him too.
It's just like you're a kind soul, Andrew.
Sino Bite-Mare chimes in on our YouTube chat.
See no evil?
Sixers fanboys are always heartbroken.
That's what I'm saying.
You got me. I am always heartbroken by this team.
I got I'm looking at you and I'm going, what the? How long are you going to get kicked in the privates?
Well, I got kicked in the privates last night by the Flyers too.
Yeah, but the thing is, the Flyers.
Who's next?
The Flyers didn't.
They're right here. Who wants to do it next?
The Flyers. The Flyers shouldn't give you that kind of angst. The Sixers, that's different.
You know what? Phillies, you're up. It's your turn today.
There you go.
Speaking of the Phillies.
There we go.
We get to start the afternoon with the Phillies today.
Oh, I like this. Day baseball.
Will there be bombs bursting in air? That and a concerning Bryce Harper stat. It's Kincade Salciunas 97.5, the Fanatic. All right, I told you about Giovanni's Falafel Bar and Grill. It's the Sixers pregame party. Thanks to our friends over at Corona, but we'll be watching the team on the ice as well. 6 to 8 tonight. Giovanni's Falafel Bar and Grill on Chestnut Street in Center City. Corona Sixers pregame party. Grab a cold Corona, enjoy the atmosphere, and get ready for a great night of Sixers basketball. And it's a big game. Does the big man play today and tomorrow? That would be nice to see. Plus, one lucky fan is walking away with a pair of tickets to an upcoming Sixers home game, and that could be you. Don't forget, this is all leading up to our final Sixers event. I might not be able to do back-to-backs. Maybe Joel Embiid will. I'm not doing the event Saturday. Connor will. Thank you, Connor. Saturday, April 4th from 6 to 8, timeout skip back on Skip Back Pike, where you can enjoy $4 Corona family bottles and one last Sixers pregame party. Don't miss it. This Friday, April 3rd, today, from 6 to 8, Giovanni's Falafel Bar and Grill in Center City. And Saturday, April 4th, tomorrow from 6 to 8 at Timeout Skip Back. It's the Corona Fanatic Sixers pregame party. And I'll see you there. You got to be 21 or older. Please drink responsibly.
Now, on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
A missed opportunity for the Flyers. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Flyers came up short against the Red Wings last night, 4-2 the final. Tyson Forster did make his return to play, scoring a goal in his first game back since being injured on December 1st. But the Flyers, not enough to get the win. They're still just 2 points out of a playoff spot. They played the Islanders on the road tonight at 7 p.m. You can hear that game live over on WMMR. Sixers have a big weekend with Minnesota tonight. Detroit Pistons tomorrow. Joel Embiid still dealing with an illness. He's listed currently as doubtful for tonight's game, so we'll keep an eye on if he's going to be available. You can hear that game live at 7 p.m. right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. VJ Edgecom making some news this week, being named the Eastern Conference Rookie of the Month. The Phillies started a 3-game series in Colorado against the Rockies today. First pitch is at 4:10 p.m. Aaron Nola faces off against Michael Lorenzen in the pitching matchup. Jason Stark joined Unfiltered yesterday for some perspective on the Phil start.
See the leadoff man's hitting 167. Number 2 hitters hitting 174. Number 3 hitters hitting 136. And the cleanup hitters hitting 208. And then I'm going to tell you, that's not the Phillies lineup. That's the Dodgers lineup. Just a reminder, it's not just the Phillies.
It's also very early in the season, so we'll continue to see how the Phils play out. The Union play Charlotte FC tomorrow at 7:30, still searching for their first MLS win this season. This update is brought to you by True Green, the easiest way to get a golf course quality lawn. Don't wait. Sign up at TrueGreen.com by April 7th to get 6 weeks free. Let the pros do the work so you can enjoy your weekend. Restrictions apply. See site for details. I'm Connor Thomas for 97.5 The Fanatic.
97.5 The Fanatic Philadelphia. More of Kincade and Salciunas coming your way now.
This hour of Kincade and Salciunas is presented by Bradford White Water Heaters. Bradford White, they're here for the pro.
It's 6:30 here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. I was told to fix my hoodie and look presentable, so I'm going hood up.
You look like the Unabomber.
I'm going hood up this. I'm going hood up this segment because I was told to look presentable.
What is this?
Out
like
of spite, I'm doing the opposite. Damn it!
What is this? The mile? What was the
8 Mile?
Yeah, no. Was that the?
Me and Eminem, very
Eminem,
similar,
yeah.
very similar talents.
Terrible.
You know.
Yeah,
you start rapping, I will turn your mic off.
I'm in a mood today. By the way, we didn't mention it because again, the bummer of the loss last night for the Flyers. Tyson Forrester's back.
Tyson looked great,
dude. Like that was awesome. And the day starts with they tell us that he's coming back. They drop a little bomb on social media. Like, huh?
What? Like I had got wind that he was coming back, but I had no idea that he was coming back then.
Yeah.
Like that was fast.
And he scores.
And he was all over the place. But Porter Martone was everywhere last night.
Yeah, no, it was great. And dude, the shame of it is I'm watching the game and I only can get whatever's coming through the TV. It sounded like the Xfinity Mobile Arena was electric last night.
Well, they were unified against some crappy officiating.
Yes, that's part of it.
Which was terrible.
It was just people were fired up yesterday, and then they dropped that. They lose.
It was bad. That wasn't good.
4-2, unfortunate. All right, one of our questions for you, and we'll check the Dr. Avidan Appel poll of the day from Iron Mountain Men's Health here, Connor. What is more likely? The Sixers hold on to one of those top 6 seeds, or the Flyers make the playoffs? What do we got on the poll? And then we'll get into these Phillies discussions as the Phillies begin a 3-game series against the Rockies. They were off yesterday. What do we got?
It's funny you ask because our Twitter poll today, what is the more likely scenarios? The winner team's playoff pushes continue. The Sixers hold on to the 6th seed or the Flyers make the playoffs. Now, we just posted this like a minute ago, so only 6 votes on it. But all of them, 100% saying Sixers hold on to the 6th seed. I'm sure it'll get a little tighter.
Yeah, that'll change over time.
It is more statistically likely that the Sixers do get the 6th seed. So it should go that way. It should end up that way.
Well, it's whether or not you think Joel Embiid's going to play in a back-to-back.
I'm just wondering, is he going to be a responsible employee and show up for work?
We'll see. It starts today, Johnny.
Listen, I'm listening to how you say that. Like you say that Connor, you're brushing it off too. It's like a playoff push, and they have to wonder whether he's going to be responsible and do the right thing and come to work.
It's
embarrassing.
Off.
It's embarrassing. This guy gets the biggest pass from his supporters. He gets the biggest pass.
I'm not giving him a pass. I'm just saying he's going to play. He's going to be there. He might not be there tonight, but he's going to be there for this push and for the play-in games, and we'll have to see if he's healthy. Like that's it. That's where I'm at with Joel Embiid. I'm not giving him a pass. I just have very low expectations for what the day-to-day is with the news cycle around this man.
Like, why would it not be a bigger story that he's not there for?
You know why? Because it didn't come out that he was like suspended or anything.
No, but he was not there for the
right
what he was expected.
And
to
what
be
people
there
are going to say is, well, he was sick. He doesn't need to go to stuff like that. Oh, well, that's what people will say. Not me. That's what people will say.
Well, we'll hear from Tony Jones coming up. Covers the team. He'll talk to us at 9:30. And
was it a quiet suspension?
Yeah.
They were surprised that he wasn't at the film session.
Yeah. So was it a quiet suspension? Not that they need him against the Wizards, but you would like to see him play starting tonight and hopefully both games. All right, Phillies in action tonight.
Well, 4:00, right?
Yes.
Right after General Hospital.
Oh, that's good. Thank God. We have Team Italy going up against each other. We have Aaron Nola versus Michael Lorenzen, who did not have good opening starts to start the season. Aaron Nola, 2 more home runs to add to his resume, and they're playing in a ballpark where the ball flies. So a little concerning.
Cloudy with a chance of meatballs is what you're saying this afternoon.
But that may also mean that the Phillies could hit the ball if the lineup decides to come to life. They should against Michael Lorenzen. They should in this ballpark. This ballpark is exactly maybe the best medicine for some of the guys that are struggling offensively because we saw Bryce Harper finally lift one. We saw JT Realmuto finally lift one. Maybe it continues this weekend in Colorado. That would be nice to see.
I like how you're thinking. And it's logical that this could happen.
Sure. I just hope that they continue their winning ways. They've won 2 straight. Let's make it a winning streak. Now, there was a concerning stat that was brought up on Unfiltered yesterday. Jason Stark, Hall of Fame writer.
It was awesome.
Covers the Phillies, covers Major League Baseball, but we know him very well here in Philadelphia. He was on with Unfiltered, and there was a lot that he had to say. He had this great quote that maybe we'll play later where he went through the batting averages of the top 4 in an order, and he said, hey, in case you think I'm talking about the Phillies, I'm not. I'm talking about the Dodgers, and that kind of puts things into perspective. Like, it's okay. The Phillies played 6 games. Like,
it's early on. Don't overreact.
Yeah, like it's all good. Nobody's saying that the Dodgers stink because they have guys hitting below 200. But he had something on Bryce Harper that's a little concerning. Now, I might be able to spin it positively as best as I can, John.
I can't wait to hear. Okay, I don't even want to. I can't wait for people to hear it. And then I want to hear how you try to spin this one positive.
All right, this was Jason Stark yesterday with the stat on Bryce Harper.
I noticed something bizarre about Bryce today. I was just thinking about how little hard contact it feels like he's made so far. So I decided I would check where he ranks in average exit velocity. And according to StatCast, there are 276 full-time players. So by that, we're saying guys who average more than 3 plate appearances a game. And where would you guess that Bryce ranks in average exit velocity in that group? And just for frame of reference, in 2020, he was 6th in baseball. In 2021, he was 9th best in baseball. The next 2 years, he was in the top 20 in baseball. How about 235th? You know, the leaderboard, if you look at it, it's early in the year, but there are guys who are averaging 98, 99 miles an hour average exit velocity. Bryce is 84.8, so a little less than 85 miles an hour. And I get that it's early. On the other hand, doesn't it feel like that's an accurate depiction of how out of sync he's looked?
So that's the last line there is where I will spin it positively.
How you going to spin it? I'm all ears.
One of his outs, well, one of his balls in play, and it was an error, was that bases loaded against the Nationals where the first baseman makes the error. And he just threw his hands out, right? He made contact. It rolled to first base. It wasn't that he swung as hard as he could and hit a little tapper to first base. The dude's out of sync, as Jason Stark points out. He's out of sync. He just throws his hands at the ball, makes contact. That counts toward the average velocity off the bat.
Sure.
Right?
Because he's flailing at the plate. He's not.
Yes.
Right now he looks completely lost.
So when you first read the stat, you maybe might think, oh man, his bat speed's going down. But then if you start going back to some of his at bats, to me, all right, this is just me speaking. He's just so out of it that he's just throwing his hands at the ball and he's not hitting it hard. Once he figures out some sort of groove, finds some groove, and maybe the home run the other day against the Nationals is that moment for him that all of a sudden he gets hot. He has a week-long stretch where he's hitting the ball hard. And then he climbs right back up in this exit velo statistic.
I didn't even know this stat existed, so then I said, okay, well, how is this? I said this morning, how are people going to spin this? I didn't know you were going to do that, but I said, how are people going to spin this? Do you know, like, the lowest he's dropped over the course of, like, a week in his career? Like, the lowest he's been that I could track him to even be at? 132nd.
Yeah.
This is an oddity.
It's an alarming number.
This is not like, this is just weird, a little blip on the radar. This is crazy bad, like for Bryce Harper. And this is a number that can't really just be brushed off and said, well, this is just, he's had some bad at-bats.
Well, I'm going to brush it off.
He never in his entire career has been at these level of numbers.
I'm going to brush it off 6 games in. You want to tell me sample size of 15? I'm not even going to say 50, right? You want to give me another week and his stat is still there?
No. I think you're being very rational and fair about that.
Yeah, if I come back from vacation and you tell me he's still there, I go, all right.
10 more days, he's still at that point where he's having these lame at-bats and everything, that's smart.
Yeah.
And I think that that's smart. But Bryce Harper has never been anywhere near the neighborhood he's in.
Yeah, he's at 84.8 was the stat that Jason Stark gave. Now, a couple of other names here for context. You might recognize some of these names as guys with solid exit velocities. Aaron Judge so far this year is at 87.1. Ronald Acuna Jr. is at 87.4. Marcelo Ozuna, where all he does is makes hard contact, is at 87.4.
Yeah, he's had a horrible
Oh, my
start.
gosh, what is going on with that?
I think he's got one hit to start the year.
It's early. Like
It is.
I think that stat shows you like there's a lot off with the way he's swinging right now. It's not just approach. He just doesn't have the feel right now. But it's way too early to be concerned.
You also
about this.
wonder, you mentioned a couple names. A couple of those names were in the World Baseball Classic, right? And you're not doing the same spring training, getting ready. You're going right into live, right? Like you're not doing as many drills. You're not doing as much BP, right? You're just hitting the cages.
Correct.
And then you're going out and playing. So maybe that has something to do with it.
I wouldn't say that because the top two guys in baseball are Eugenio Suarez, who is in the World Baseball Classic, and Roman Anthony's number 2, who is in the World Baseball Classic. It could have something to do with it. I think it's just there's so much variance because we're 6 games in.
Yeah, like that's the thing. If Bryce Harper, I wonder what his average exit velocity was before that home run. Like
I think it was 42 miles an hour.
Yeah,
I mean,
like it was so that
Terrible.
one swing in the bat may have changed it drastically. But here's another question for you. At 610-632-0975. When you hear that stat, what is it that you choose to believe? Do you believe that, all right, he's going to turn it around? Or do you believe this is the big sign of a decline?
As I say to you before, I am not going to be in the business of doubting Bryce Harper because I think he's given enough. Like, as far as doubting Bryce Harper to be Bryce Harper of the past, I'm willing to engage in that discussion. But betting on Bryce Harper to become a mediocre baseball player, no.
Okay.
No.
So you choose to believe that it turns.
No, it's going to turn. And it's going to turn where he's still going to be clearly an above-average baseball player. I have no question.
All right, then
and I'm
we're
not
on the
in that
same
business.
page here.
But do I think this is could this be a sign of decline on the rise? Yes. I absolutely believe that could be.
All right, well then do you believe this is the beginning of the decline or do you believe he turns things around? Simple question for what do you choose to believe?
What do you think this is? How do you think this is going to go? Gut instinct, you guys.
I think people will choose to believe that it turns around.
I think it's going to be
because they don't want to believe that it won't.
I think it's going to be like 60-40 when it all shakes out.
We might have dueling polls again today, Connor. Get to work, man. 610-632-0975. You can climb in with the conversations. Text line, voice memos, calling as well. Coming up next. So we started the show reacting to the Flyers' loss. We talked a little bit about the Sixers' big night tonight, big weekend ahead of them, back-to-back. We'll update you on the viewing guide, not just for the Sixers and Flyers, but the other teams as well that you're paying attention to, things that they need to go their way, some help that they need. We'll update you on everything coming up next. It is Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic. Oh, let's talk about that FanDuel Sportsbook app. My bad. We'll take the hood off for this one. I want to make the FanDuel people happy. Things are really heating up in the tournament, and FanDuel, in partnership with Valley Forge, is giving all customers a profit boost every single game day leading up to the big championship game. Build a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout, or try live betting and jump in after tip-off. Best of all, with FanDuel, you get paid instantly when you win. So just visit FanDuel.com/local to get started. That's FanDuel.com/local to claim your first profit boost and keep the action going from now until the big championship. I know our bracket as a show has UConn in it. So for that sake, go UConn. But I got to put my money where my mouth is. I've been talking about Michigan all year, all season long.
Yeah, good team.
So
good club.
They got a very good club.
They got a good club.
Let's hope that there's not one bad bounce or one bad pass, and they would have won the championship. I don't know if Dave Dombrowski is a big Michigan Wolverines fan. I hope he's not, because that might be the stank on the team that I don't want, because I want that team to win. I got money on it. FanDuel, player game. You got to be 21 plus, present in Pennsylvania. Opt-in required. Bonus issued is not eligible profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 100.
97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
6:49 here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic on this Payday Friday, Johnny. Happy Payday Friday to all you who are celebrating that on this beautiful April 3rd.
On Good Friday.
On Good Friday. Happy Good Friday. Good Friday probably leads Payday Friday.
It should.
It should.
Were you allowed to, what was Good Friday? Were your parents like strict Good Friday people? Like, did you have to, because back in the day, you did not talk on Good Friday between 12 and 3.
Yeah, no, we did not do that rule.
It was like quiet. Like there was no there was no television on, no radio on. We used to have to go to church.
I did the Good Friday church. We did not.
Well, like we had to go to church for like the whole time.
You know, I didn't know. We didn't do that. No
Back
meat.
in the
No
day.
meat. Obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, follow all the rules, but the whole no talking thing, not happening.
I don't think I ever did any of that. I just found out it was Easter this Sunday last night.
Happy.
No, you did.
Yes, I did. I had no
Happy
clue.
Easter weekend.
It's too early in the month.
The Easter Bunny's gonna hop on over to your house soon, man.
The holiday shifting, I could talk for years, but make it the same date all the time.
What?
I don't know, man.
That's not how it works, bro.
I
not
know
how
it's
it
not.
works.
That's not how it works. It's all good, Connor.
I can't remember the ones that are on the same date.
Make it all the same date all the time.
Yeah.
Make it easy on me.
Yeah. How about we change Christmas every year?
No. I know when Christmas is.
All right.
December at some point.
All right. Here's what the Sixers and Flyers need to do. I got the Sixers, Johnny. You got the Flyers.
Okay.
First off, Sixers need to have Joel Embiid play both games this weekend. That's where it starts. He needs to play today and tomorrow.
Well, we'll check this morning and see if he just shows up for work.
Let me see how serious this group is. I would love to see Joel. Look, if you don't want to play him back-to-back Rockets, Pacers, all right, that's one thing. T-Wolves, Pistons, these are two big games. I want him. I need him to play in both games. So the Sixers are a game and a half back of the Hawks. We're playing the look in front of you game, not just the look behind you game. Raptors right there with you. I'll tell you what the Raptors got. The Hawks have the Nets today. And then they have the Knicks, Cavs, Heat. So I'm expecting a Hawks win in Brooklyn tonight. Brooklyn is literally trying to lose, much like it's like 10 other teams in the NBA.
They're giving it away.
This is a great product. Knicks, Cavs, Heat.
They're fine.
That's a tough stretch, dude.
Yeah, but they have a little bit of a buffer though to work with.
Yeah, they do, and the Sixers have really tough games. But I'm just saying, I'm not saying that the Hawks are going to go 1-4, but you can't pencil in a 4-1 run for the Hawks here.
You could pencil in a 2-3 minimum, 3-2, a 2-3 minimum. Could be 3-2, right?
Could be.
Yeah, I mean you're penciling in a 2-3 minimum.
Yeah, look, odds are they're not catching the Hawks. Right? That's odds are they're not catching them. But
correct.
We'll see what happens. And then there's the Toronto Raptors that we've mentioned a couple of times because that's the team that you're really fighting with to avoid a play-in spot. They got the Grizzlies tonight, so Toronto I expect to win today. But then Celtics, Heat, Knicks, Nets. Hopefully that Nets game does not matter. Hopefully the Sixers already have it locked in because that's a pretty easy opponent. But also, same time, Sunday, 6 o'clock, Nets Raptors is Sixers Bucks. The Sixers should be able to beat the Bucks. What do we have in terms of the Ice Flyers in action tonight? Must
Yeah,
win spot.
tonight's getting down to it because the Islanders are one of those teams that you're trying to track down. So you need to worry about that. Islanders right now, you are 3 points behind the Islanders with a game in hand. So tonight's the night. Take care of the Islanders at the Island. You lose tonight, you're 5 points back of the Islanders for third place in your division. Those wild card spots aren't as easy right now because of Red Wings and Senators both winning last night. So you're focusing on the Islanders right now. You got them right in front of you tonight. You leave tonight the Island, you could leave 1 point behind third place with a game in hand. You're right back there with 5 games to play. You're right there. But anything less than a win tonight's going to be a real problem.
Yeah.
And a regulation win that gives the Islanders no points.
Right, exactly.
So that's what you're looking at tonight. So you're watching that game. Flyers, Islanders, only thing you need to see tonight. It's the only game of consequence to the Flyers that's in action tonight.
Is this one of those spots where the Islanders know what's at stake? And if it's a tie game late, they pee away the clock a little bit.
Oh yeah, they're going to want to guarantee they get 1 point.
Yeah. So this is one of those. There's 6 minutes left in the third period,
and they'll start playing keep away.
Yeah.
And that's what sucks about this NHL overtime system.
With the point.
It sucks. I mean, it sucks, and they're also going to think about doing something, I believe, with their playoffs, like their point system.
You think they change it a little bit?
Yeah, it stinks.
So do you think tonight's an aggressive offensive attack Flyers night.
Yes.
Do you take a goal in the first period to be scored, maybe 2 goals in the first period to be scored by the Flyers?
I think.
Can you bet that? Can you bet goal by period?
Yeah, sure.
You can bet anything.
You
baby.
can bet. You can bet by period. Sure, absolutely, you can. I absolutely believe that you're going to see a Flyers team that is playing like you saw it last night with Porter Martone. I think you could see hair on fire Flyers tonight.
Okay.
And if you watched Martone last night, he looks so much like he belongs on an NHL rink, and that is awesome.
All right, so 2 goals, 2 first period goals by the Flyers. You guys want to lock that in?
Nope, but you can.
Are you allowed to bet on Good Friday?
You're allowed to bet on Good Friday.
I didn't know what the commandments.
Yeah.
I don't know if FanDuel was around yet.
No. I believe.
Thou shalt not bet.
No, I believe. No. Well, first off, there's none of that. I don't believe that. I don't believe Jesus ever spoke on that. I don't think he did. I don't think he ever did. And I don't know if there was a big parlay that he was interested in.
Yeah, do you think he would have bet?
I don't know. He was a man of the people.
Use promo code Good Friday for the Flyers resurrection.
That I don't.
That one might not be accurate.
That may not be, but Connor, I admire your attitude for the client. What? You look patient.
This might be sacrilegious.
No, it's not.
Could Jesus fix games?
Sure, he could do anything.
So
he could heal the sick.
You trying to say Jesus Christ can't hit a curveball?
Are you trying to tell me that
So could Jesus could there be a monster underdog? He goes,
yes.
Dude, I got a 10 spot.
No, he could have made
plus 1,400 on the money line. He
could have made Embiid show up for team meetings.
That's $1 in the jar.
No, it's not. It's what happened.
You're milking it at this point.
You're.
You asked the question. What can you do? I gave you an example.
All right, coming up next, we'll reset our topics today. But also, I can't believe we're doing this again. The Phillies bats have been quiet for 6 games, John, and we're already panicking about lineup changes.
Not we, though.
No, not we. Some are. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Another tough loss. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Flyers came up short against the Red Wings last night, 4-2, the final in that one. Tyson Forster did make his return to play, scoring a goal in his first game back since being injured on December 1st. Porter Martone tallied his first NHL point in the game, but the win is what's important. The Flyers could not find it. They're still just 2 points out of a playoff spot. They'll take on the Islanders on the road tonight at 7 p.m. You can hear that game live over on our sister station, WMMR. The Sixers have a big weekend. They've got the Minnesota Timberwolves tonight, the Detroit Pistons tomorrow. Tonight's game is at 7 p.m. You can hear it live here on The Fanatic. Joel Embiid still dealing with an illness. He's listed as doubtful for tonight's game, but we'll keep an eye on his status. Congratulations in order for VJ Edgecom, who was named the Eastern Conference Rookie of the Month earlier this week. The Phillies started a 3-game series in Colorado against the Rockies today. First pitch is at 4:10 p.m. Aaron Nola takes on Michael Lorenzen in the pitching matchup. So we'll keep an eye on the Phillies trying to build on that strong series win against the Nationals. The Union play Charlotte FC tomorrow at 7:30. They're still searching for their first MLS win this season. We'll talk to Kevin Nagandi coming up at 9 a.m. Tony Jones of The Athletic joins us at 9:30 to talk Sixers. This update is brought to you by Corona. Don't miss the final Corona 97.5 The Fanatic Sixers pregame party Saturday, April 4th from 6 to 8 p.m. at Timeout Skip Back with me, Connor Thomas, featuring $4 Corona family bottles. You could win Sixers tickets to a future home game. Must be 21 or older. I'm Connor Thomas from the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
and the Fanatic app.
All right, it is 7 a.m. here on Kincade Salciunas 97.5, the Fanatic on this Friday morning. Talking about the Sixers and Flyers who continue to make their playoff pushes. We mentioned the Phillies early on as well. We'll get into a lineup discussion coming up later on in this segment in about 10 minutes. But here's what we've been discussing when it comes to the Flyers and Sixers. Flyers kicking the nuts night last night. They need to win tonight. Sixers begin the first of two back-to-back games. T-Wolves tonight, Pistons tomorrow. Joel Embiid has to play in both games. It's not I want. It's not please. He needs to play in both games tonight and tomorrow, John. He just has to do it. And for anybody that's out there that's saying, well, it's about getting healthy to the playoffs, I've seen that act before. He has gotten to the playoffs healthy, and it has not necessarily worked out. The best thing the Sixers team could do is to stay in the sixth spot because your matchup with the Knicks is better than your matchup with the Celtics. And that's just simple basketball math. 6 is better than 7. 6 versus 3 is better than 7 versus 2.
And 8 is better than 7 or 6.
Yes.
And that's all I'm talking about. 8 is better than 7 or 6.
Well, then you'd be okay if you didn't play back-to-back.
Well, I'm not expecting him to play back-to-back because he's Joel Embiid.
But would you be okay with it? Because your dream scenario, you've been talking about this for a couple of weeks now.
I said it right now.
To your credit, you've been talking about
I
this.
will take my chances with the 8 seed. I'd rather have the 8 seed because the 8 seed is the best path. There's no question. I guarantee you this, the Sixers' best odds would be to beat the Detroit Pistons.
Yes.
And because they're going to be still, Cade Cunningham's not back for the first-round series, right?
Right. He could come back during the first-round series.
He could come back, they're saying, by like game 4 or 5. Sixers' best chance to advance would be to play an inexperienced team that has never been there before without their best player.
I just hate playing for seeds that are behind you.
And Amy is going to throat punch me next week.
Yes.
If I'm espousing this, and I do get scared of Amy when she gets like that.
Deservedly so.
But she's going to throat punch me about it. But I'm telling you right now, there's no one that can argue with my logic. It's completely logical. Their best chance to win is if they do that. It's the best chance to succeed. Being the 8th seed is their best path. They're much better path to beat them than to beat the Knicks or to beat the Celtics. Beating the Celtics in a 7-game series. If anyone tells me they're confident the Sixers are beating the Celtics in a 7-game series, that tells me they haven't been watching.
Yeah, I am not confident that they beat the Celtics.
Now, do they have a puncher's chance? Sure they do. A puncher's chance? Yeah. Could you get that series to if they could get that series to 2-2, then I'd go, wow, okay. They got a shot.
And this goes back to one of the questions. So, again, multiple national reporters over the course of the week. A lot of it because of Paul George, right? Because Paul George is still a name brand in the NBA.
And he is.
May not be here per our conversation yesterday. When I say Philadelphia 76er Paul George, your response is what? There's not much to say about Paul George as a Sixer, but he's still a name brand in the NBA. And because of his play recently since returning from the suspension, a lot of the reporters are saying, man, if you can get that Paul George in the playoffs, and if Joel Embiid is healthy, we see when he just walks out there against the Bulls and scores 15 in the first quarter when he woke up and decided to play basketball. You see what Maxi's doing. You see what VJ Edgecom is doing as a rookie. You see the pieces that this team has that can come off the bench and help fill roles. Do you buy into the Sixers are a dangerous team message, or are you rolling your eyes at this point? 610-632-0975. Connor, let's check the Davis Honda text line. You can feel the Davis difference. Check them out in Burlington. We love Davis Honda.
Can I ask Connor a question first?
Yes, please.
Connor, how would you vote in the poll that you're going to update us on?
As far as the...
What would your vote be in that poll?
For the Sixers
won.
Flyers?
Sixers won.
So I would go the Sixers getting the 6th seed is more likely.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I mean...
I think that's logical. I think that's very logical.
The Flyers haven't helped themselves out. The only reason they're still alive is they're being kept alive on life support, and I need them to wake up and take the ventilator off.
I don't think that is unfair at all.
Yeah, you hope they didn't run out of gas.
No, they didn't. They had more gas last night.
Right.
They were the better team on the ice. They didn't necessarily play the better game, but they were the better team on the ice last night.
Connor McDavid agrees. Silver shines just as bright.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they lost. All right, what do we have in the Davis Honda text line? Flyers-Sixers discussion. Sorry to pin the two together. What's more likely? Sixers hold on to the 6th seed or Flyers make the playoffs? What do we got on the text line? Anything that we got?
Yeah, so Mo from Richboro checks in, says the Sixers cannot end up playing the Celtics. They're our boogeyman. It just would be the same as how the Phillies played the Dodgers. The Celtics are better than their seed would suggest.
Yeah, we've talked about this in the past. There are people that say, our buddy Bob Cooney would say it. Well, you might play them eventually, so why not try to get to them in the beginning?
I never believe in that strategy.
No, because what do we always hear about the Sixers? They didn't have enough time to play with one another. So hopefully a playoff series allows them to gel. And B, not that you're ever rooting for it, but what if a player gets hurt on another team?
It's the Detroit Cade Cunningham story that I'm telling you, that I'm trying to sell, is that playing Cade Cunningham, playing the Detroit Pistons in the first round is going to be easier for any team than playing them later on. It is going to be easier for any team to play Detroit in the first round than it's going to be in any round afterwards because Cade's going to be back. So, to me, it just makes common sense to play a team when they're at their weakest. Play them when you get the chance. And that's what I'm hoping the Sixers are going to get a chance.
Andrew, do you see the irony in the, hey, what if another team gets banged up as we sit here to root for the Sixers?
Absolutely.
I would rather get a team early because I don't know what this team's going to look like night to night, much less series to series.
Yeah, but the Sixers, if they're going to get hurt, they're going to lose, regardless of who they play. Right? If Joel Embiid gets hurt.
When they're going to get hurt.
If Joel Embiid gets hurt, I'm not going to say when. If Joel Embiid gets hurt and they're playing any of the teams that are ahead of them in the playoffs, any of the seeds, right? Hawks, Cavs, Knicks, Celtics, Pistons. The Sixers will lose the series. But I'd rather try to go as far as I possibly can. I've not seen this team leave the second round since 2001. You have not seen this team. John has not seen this team leave the second round since 2001.
And you guys don't even remember 2001.
I do.
You're like...
But, I don't know what I was eating that day.
Exactly. You guys were having garanimals. What? Not garanimals. Danimals.
Yeah, come on, man. Show some respect.
The other day, you guys got... If I could tell the audience how excited the word Danimals came up.
Oh, yeah, we were doing
Austin Jones brought up Danimals.
We were doing yogurt power rankings.
And these kids that I work with, I thought I was at a third-grade lunch table hearing the discussion and debate. And it always charms me.
The split-color Trix yogurt.
It was
overrated.
Oh yeah, the Connor immediately with the overrated.
Yeah,
Andrew with the higher in his power rankings. The charming stuff that you guys get into always makes me laugh.
Gogurt was a top seed.
Gogurts you had in the mix,
and we didn't have any of this.
Gogurt sugar, I believe Christina was very anti.
Well, exactly
for Liv,
and we didn't have this fancy schmancy stuff, right? Coop drinks these Stony Brook things. There are zero added sugar, all that kind of stuff.
Mom's that.
I feel bad for his future. Right now, he might not be an obese child like I was, but all I know is I have memories of those Gogurts and the Trix yogurts and all those delicious, totally sugarized yogurts.
He's not going to beat Chubby Tunas. I'm betting you on that one.
No.
He won't be.
No, I kind of won't allow it. All right, what else we got? 610-632-0975. You can leave a voice memo as well, so you don't just have to do the old text. You can do a voice memo. You could call as well.
Yes,
how about that? 610-632-0975. What else do we have on the Davis Honda text line, Connor?
Joe the Cynic checks in, says, to my novice eye, it looked like Martone is a step behind making a play on a loose puck. Definitely not afraid to pull the trigger, though. Give him time with the new game speed, and he'll be a great addition.
I'm going to disagree with Joe the Cynic. I did not see it that way at all. Did not see it that way at all. I see him as somebody who, for his first NHL games, it was ahead of where I thought he'd be, ahead of what I expected. So I'm incredibly impressed with that. And he wasn't being critical of him, but I think that he was better than I expected. Let's put it that way.
All right.
So I'm liking that one.
All right, let's talk some fighting.
Yep.
We're still doing this. You're shaking your head. Do you know where I'm going? Do you know where I'm going at?
I'd imagine it has something to do with the leadoff spot.
All right, we've played 6 games. The Philadelphia Phillies have played 6 games.
They have.
In 2026.
Yes, they have.
All right, 6 games.
And people are?
Well, I go to NBCSportsPhiladelphia.com. And I've really enjoyed the addition of Cole Weintraub. I think he's doing a very
Young
good
Cole
job.
is he's bringing it.
Yeah.
The kid's got a fastball.
Yes, he does. But for the second time in 2026, I have read an article of his, and now this one's 6 games into the season, suggesting that Kyle Schwarber should bat leadoff.
Okay, now Cole, look, like any youngster coming up, we got to look at Cole and the fine work that he's doing because we are fans of his work.
Yeah, I think he's doing a great job.
But we're looking at Cole and we're saying he is like a young pitcher. He's going to have erratic outings. He's going to have great outings. He obviously has the stuff, as Connor would say. We know he has the stuff.
Yeah.
So
late life.
But right now he's got the late life on his words. But yeah, little erratic on this one.
So the title, leading off Kyle Schwarber, could give Phillies offense a boost. I watched Kyle Schwarber have his best season of his career last year.
What are we doing?
I understand that the Phillies won a lot of baseball games when he was the leadoff hitter. Did they not win a lot of baseball games last year?
Yeah, they won the most games that they've won in the Kyle Schwarber era.
Did Trey Turner not get the batting title, batting leadoff for this baseball team?
Yeah, and he did. Yeah, he did.
I understand that Trey Turner is off to a bit of a slow start, but are we really panicking so much that we are going to move Turner out of the leadoff spot? And he suggests just to drop him to 2. So Cole suggests Schwarber leadoff, Turner 2, Harper 3. That's the only switch you're doing is you're flip-flopping those 2 guys. But again, when you don't bat leadoff, there's a chance that guys are on base. Now, he does suggest, in fairness to the article, that you've never had a 9-hitter that was consistently getting on base until now. Right? So back in the day when Kyle Schwarber was batting leadoff, when
different.
Roman Quinn was batting 9th and Johan Rojas was batting 9th, there was a lot of times Kyle Schwarber was hitting solo home runs because nobody was on base.
Okay, so young Cole with he look, that was a really nasty strike he threw there. That's a fair point. Okay.
But you know what else would be cool? If Crawford and Turner are on base in front of Kyle Schwarber.
Which we saw last year when he got put down in the lineup, that his production went way up.
Because there's a threat to stealing bases, and the pitchers have to worry about that, and they can't just throw junk in the dirt because then the runners on base could potentially steal another 90 feet. I don't understand how in the year of the Lord 2026 on this Good Friday we're still doing this. Hey, Connor, your thoughts?
Brandon Marsh is batting .350. Should he be batting second or third?
No, he should not be.
It's 6 games. I understand people have to do the content on the team, and if you cover the team, you're writing about the team, you got to come up with stuff to talk about. But nobody's changing any lineup right now. Well, what are we going to do? Well, Rob Thompson's going to take off his hat in the dugout, and everyone's going to crumple up their name on a piece of paper. We're just going to pull it out and see who bats where. They have a plan. They're going to try it out for at least a month, if not more. That goes for the platoons. That goes for the lineup. That goes for most of the bullpen structure. Let it bake in. Is this our first baseball season?
Rob Thompson manages like it is many times. I got you, Connor, until you get to the point of why you don't have Garcia as your cleanup hitter, who has played the vast majority of his career as a cleanup hitter. And you continue to struggle with a guy like Alec Boehm at cleanup. You're horseshoing Alec Bowman as a cleanup hitter, which makes no sense.
We had Scott Lauber on
sense
yesterday, and I asked him, at the end, sure, hey, is there going to be lineup changes eventually? Because I don't want to change anything 6 games in.
Yeah, you're not looking to make a big run right
now. But
now.
I would make the one I would change first is the 4-hole spot, and he did say he could see that changing quicker,
imminently.
Because if Alec Boehm continues to struggle, or even if he's hitting the ball, but it's just not for power.
You don't have he's not a power hitter.
No.
He's not a guy who's obviously comfortable there. He's not productive there. And you have a guy that you've brought in who is a veteran. He's not a veteran who's going to be intimidated to bat cleanup.
No, it's where he's used to.
It's where he's batted. The idea that he has to, we got to give him time, get him comfortable. No, you don't.
Yes, you do. I completely contend with that. Again,
why do you have to get him comfortable? He's a guy who's batted cleanup most of his career.
I think he should be comfortable because of this ballpark more than...
Right. I mean, He's not intimidated.
It's not just the ballpark. There's a lot of stuff that changes when you go from a team you've been with for a while to be a part of a different lineup, understanding what your role is, what this team needs you to do, like what is being asked of you.
So should the Mets have batted Bo Bichette sixth?
C-ball, here, Connor.
No,
Connor, C-ball hit. Connor, C-ball hit ball.
It's not that simple. And Bo Bichette is a great hitter. Adolis Garcia has been an offensive downturn for the past 2 seasons.
But he is a better guy to bat clean up on any lineup in Major League Baseball than Alec Bohm is.
He is. And
so that's the answer.
I don't need the guy to get comfortable. I don't need the guy to get comfortable.
You don't say it will be because you already know the answer with Alec Bohm. He's not the answer. We already know the answer. We've seen enough of it. And if Rob Thompson doesn't understand that, I can't get it. I can't. If he doesn't get it, I don't understand what he doesn't understand.
Okay, so Adolis Garcia, he bats cleanup today in Colorado. And for the next 2 weeks, the guy hits 110 with maybe a home run. Then what do?
I'm not worried about I'm not worried about it because of the fact is I know in his career he is still going to give me a better option at cleanup than Alec Bohm is.
What if Bohm in the 6 hole starts to hit for a little bit of gap-to-gap power?
Because maybe he's in a better spot in the order.
Okay, but that's the thing. So is Adolis Garcia right now. So you let it play out. You got to let stuff bake in more. Is Adolis Garcia going to be the long-term cleanup hitter of this team? I believe so. I hope so. That's what they're going to get to. But we're 6 games in, boys.
But you're doing it with an answer that you're putting a guy in a position where you know the answer isn't him. You know Alec Bohm's not a cleanup hitter.
And I don't know it's Garcia as the answer. I'm not 100% sure of that.
You do know one guy has been a cleanup hitter for his entire career. That's what he is. You know that's a better answer than Alec Bohm.
And last year he didn't get to 20 home runs. I need to see more. He's barreling up the baseball. That's great. He's got 1 home run on the year, barely got out. Let's see him create a little bit more pop. And if by the end of April we're looking at this like, oh, wow, okay, the power numbers look great, you make the flip.
You're saying Alec Bohm has to – so Garcia, you're saying, needs to prove himself to get Alec Bohm out of the cleanup spot.
He needs to – no. I'm saying Adolis Garcia needs to prove himself to bat cleanup on this team. It's not an Alec Bohm thing. It's the responsibility of batting behind those guys, and he's got to earn it.
But you're giving the guy you're giving responsibility to bat cleanup right now. You're telling another guy he has to earn it, and you're giving another guy the responsibility who has not earned it, who stinks at it.
Bohm has been there.
He stinks at
John,
it.
It's like a bridge quarterback in the NFL. You really think Kirk Cousins is going to be the long-term guy in Las Vegas?
But he's a guy who's done it. But he's a guy who's done it. Alec Bohm has never done it, Connor.
Alec Bohm has done it for the past 3 years.
But he's not a cleanup hitter.
Okay, I don't know what to tell you.
Eventually, it'll change.
Tell me that it's
changes
a dumb
soon.
strategy. That's what you can
changes soon. Ultimately, what I think is dumb is putting Kyle Schwarber in the leadoff spot.
Well, yeah.
Don't do that.
How this all
That's
started.
where we can all find common ground.
And one of the things that Cole says is the move also makes sense for Trey Turner because he's excelled with runners on base. I can't make a decision to try to help Trey Turner out. I want Kyle Schwarber to hit more runs in when he hits home runs.
Absolutely.
All right. Sorry, two is in the world of analytics, 2 is greater than 1.
Wait a minute now.
And Kyle
now
Schwarber.
You're getting into some really crazy
talk. The reason why
talk.
Kyle Schwarber had all those RBI last year is because he had guys on base finally for him. All right. You can text in 610-632-0975. By the way, you have a propeller hat bet on our YouTube chat.
A propeller hat bet?
Yes.
Right, give it to me.
I love the name. It's Dominican Austin Wells.
Dominican Austin Wells.
Austin Wells.
Yes.
Born in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Okay.
Austin Wells does not really sound like a name of somebody that's from the Dominican Republic, but he played for them in the World Baseball Classic.
That's amazing.
I never really read into how that worked, but it did. So Dominican Austin Wells on our YouTube chat.
Hi, Dominican.
If the Pistons play the Sixers and win in 4 or 5 games, Kincade has to wear the rainbow propeller hat.
Okay, if Cade Cunningham doesn't play in the series.
Oh.
I will absolutely give you that. I'll do that bet anytime. If Cade Cunningham, because that's the premise, is that you're playing him without Cade Cunningham. How about this? If Cade Cunningham doesn't play in 4 games of the series, I will absolutely do that. Sign me up.
Okay.
No question. No question.
Let's see if Austin Wells agrees. And James Finnegan told me to go take another gummy. Sounds good.
I could spell the Tobias Harris playoff series that's coming from here.
What, where he scores 2 points in a deciding Game 6?
See, you're feeding into it.
You're feeding into it.
Dude, that dude.
Don't poke the damn universe.
No, I will poke the fake-ass assassin scorer. Assassin score. Remember all that nonsense? My God. 2 points in a Game 6.
I could smell him dropping 30 from here.
And you can...
No, he'll drop 30 in Game 1. And then as a series, he's a James Harden light.
Do you not see the narrative?
Disappears in the big games.
It's like he's spitting right into it, Connor. It's like he's just going to keep yapping.
Coming up
and
next.
Bring it on. And if it happens...
But you like Tobias Harris? He stinks.
No, but he's not. No,
but he's going to do it.
You're bringing it on. You're asking for it to happen by the way you keep doing this.
Before, right?
Yes. And I've watched Tobias Harris pee himself.
By the way, they love him, too, in Detroit.
Yeah.
They don't. They love him.
Yeah, until they watch him in the playoffs. Coming up next, as we continue to get fired up for tonight, because it is a big night, both Sixers and Flyers. One thing that's always good for the soul, admitting when you're wrong. We'll do that. I hope a lot of you do as well. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic. All right, big night for the Sixers, which is why you got to go out and watch the game, because we also have the squad on the ice to watch tonight, the orange and the black. Tonight, April 3rd. That's today. Giovanni's Falafel Bar and Grill on Chestnut Street in Center City. I'll be there with my friends from Corona. 6 to 8, Sixers pregame party, getting you ready for tip-off the right way. I'll also tell the bartender, have the Fly Boys on as well. Grab a cold Corona, enjoy the atmosphere, and get ready for a great night of Sixers basketball. Plus, one lucky fan is walking away with a pair of tickets to an upcoming Sixers home game. That could be you. And don't forget, this is all leading up to our final Sixers event from Corona. I'm not doing back-to-backs, all right? I got to worry about my health and my knees.
You show up for the meetings, though.
I don't know if I'll do that. I'll be on vacation. Connor will be at Timeout Skip Back tomorrow from 6 to 8. So Giovanni's Falafel Bar and Grill on Chestnut Street tonight with me. Tomorrow, Timeout Skip Back with Connor, where you can enjoy $4 Corona family bottles and one last Corona Sixers pregame party. So don't miss it. Hanging out with you tonight and tomorrow, thanks to our friends at Corona, the Fanatic Sixers pregame party. We'll see you there. You got to be 21 or older. Please drink responsibly.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Tough night for the Flyers. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Flyers lost to the Red Wings 4-2 last night with a lot on the line there. Tyson Forster did make his return to play, scoring a goal in his first game back since being injured on December 1st, but the Flyers still find themselves 2 points out of a playoff spot. They take on the Islanders on the road tonight at 7 p.m. You can hear that game live on WMMR. Another big one for them. The Sixers have a big weekend. They've got the Minnesota Timberwolves tonight, the Detroit Pistons tomorrow. Joel Embiid is still dealing with an illness, so his status for tonight's game and tomorrow's is up in the air. You can hear tonight's game at 7 p.m. right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Congrats to VJ Edgecom, who was named Rookie of the Month in the Eastern Conference earlier this week. Phil started a 3-game series in Colorado against the Rockies today. First pitch is at 4:10 p.m. Aaron Nola versus Michael Lorenz in the pitching matchup. Jason Stark joined Unfiltered yesterday, gave some perspective on the Phil start to the season.
See the leadoff man's hitting 167. Number 2 hitters hitting 174. Number 3 hitters hitting 136. And the cleanup hitters hitting 208. And then I'm going to tell you, that's not the Phillies lineup. That's the Dodgers lineup. I mean, just a reminder, it's not just the Phillies.
Just 6 games in, there are a lot of teams with a lot of weird stuff going on. We'll keep an eye on them. The Union play Charlotte FC tomorrow at 7:30, still searching for their first MLS win this season. This update is brought to you by Papa John's, introducing new pan pizza from Papa John's. Order a medium 1-topping pan pizza, just $11.99 when you download the Papa John's app or at papajohns.com. Better ingredients, better pizza. That's Papa John's. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
The Fanatic.
7 a.m. hour is brought to you by the BetParks online casino and sportsbook app. Live bet sports on the BetParks app. Play all your favorite casino games. There's always another way to win on the BetParks online casino and sportsbook. Got to be 21 in Pennsylvania, Jersey, or Maryland. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
It is 7:31. Kincade Salciunas, 97.5. The Fanatic, Sixers, Flyers, Phillies. A lot of action today on the show. MBD on our YouTube chat wants to know, are you a Detroit or a Detroit person?
It's Detroit.
I'm a Detroit.
It's Detroit.
It depends.
Just say it the right way. Detroit.
The Tigers
are Chicago.
The Tigers are
Chicago
Detroit.
is the Indian name. That's their name, Chicago. That's Chicago is how the Indian name is.
See, I'm a Chicago guy because the Lithuanian.
Yeah, but if the Detroit Tigers, but the Detroit Lions, the Pistons could go either way.
Okay.
So you change it up by the team?
Yeah.
I get what you're saying, though. I totally understand what you're saying. It is Detroit Tigers.
What?
It is not Detroit Tigers. It is Detroit. You're spot on. He's right. He's right.
Like the Lions are Detroit.
One of my favorite things about Sean Brace, when we hear him with Middays with Marks, is what was it? What do they call it? Feel fact.
Yes.
Like he just says it's a feel fact. I don't know if it's totally true or not. I think you're right. That's a feel fact. Detroit Tigers.
It just flows better. You just got to hear it. You got to hear the music.
Detroit Red Wings or Detroit Red Wings?
I go Detroit Red
It's
Wings.
Detroit. It's Detroit. There's one right answer.
John, it's all right. You can admit when you're wrong.
Yeah, I can.
As can all of us.
Plenty of us.
A lot of people don't like to do that, though. Congratulations to VJ Edgecom, winner of the Eastern Conference Rookie of the Month.
Sexy as hell.
His play was sexy as hell. During the month of March, when Paul George was dealing with the suspension, Joel Embiid was dealing with Joel Embiid, and Tyrese Maxey had been out as well. The fact that the Sixers are on April 3rd, the 6th seed, and we're talking about staying in the 6th seed, even though it's going to be a rough stretch the next couple of games.
It's incredible.
It's because of what VJ Edgecombe was able to do. They didn't win 10 straight games, but they stayed above water. And without VJ Edgecombe playing the way that he did in the month of March, this team is 8th seed, right? They're only a game and a half up of the Hornets, who are the 8th seed. So if VJ Edgecombe does not have the month of March that he did, this Sixers team is playing potentially on the road in a play-in game because the Magic are just a half game back of the Hornets. That means you're just 2 games up of the Magic. For all we know, the Sixers could be 9th or 10th if it wasn't for VJ Edgecombe.
It's amazing the thin line between 10th and 5th.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
So that is a guy that a lot of people, I think, were wrong on. I don't think you were wrong to say you wanted Ace Bailey because you were thinking about the next regime of the Sixers, right? You know, the post-Joel Embiid, Paul George era. Ace Bailey is a guy that's going to be able to create his own shot and score. So I don't think people were wrong with that mindset. But I think there were a lot of people that went a little too far with why you don't draft VJ Edgecombe. Because unfortunately in sports, that's what we do. Here's why my player's better, and it's not, let me tell you the good things about the player.
Sure.
It's what sucks about the other guy. A lot of that happened with VJ Edgecombe. He can't do this. He can't do that. His game's not going to translate to the NBA. He can't score. And look, hand up. I wanted VJ Edgecombe. I didn't expect him to score at the clip that he's scoring at this year.
Never did.
The way he's pulling up and hitting threes,
no.
Did not expect that in year one at all.
No, never did.
So congratulations to VJ Edgecombe. And this is a nice time where we can always sort of admit when we're wrong.
But at least we could say we weren't wrong because we didn't want Ace Bailey. And not that Ace is a bad player or anything like that.
No.
Oh, I wanted Ace.
I did not.
I was on the race for Ace train for years. Not years, weeks.
For years.
Liv says
when he was in high school, you were breaking down his high school tape.
Yeah.
Liv says he's on some of like the I don't know what they call those things on the poles where they have the banners.
Yeah.
That Ace is prominently shown in Utah where he didn't want to be.
Well, who else are they going to show? That team stinks.
I got Laurie Markkinen whenever they want to play him.
Exactly. Well, he calls Joel and they text each other.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's another one. What are things recently that we've gone wrong on? This is a show of accountability.
Sure.
What are some things that we have recently been wrong
mine's
on?
the easiest one. It's in 2026. I absolutely had no doubt that the Eagles were beating the 49ers. Not a doubt in my mind. that game was going our way and there was no shot in my mind that the 49ers were coming in and beating them. That was stupidity. That was flat out stupid. I didn't give the 49ers a shot that day. Dumb.
Connor, anything, probably Phillies for you.
Yeah, I had more faith in Max Kepler than I should have.
Yeah.
What about you?
I have a big one. It's a little further back, but like I didn't want them to sign Saquon. I was not a pay a running back.
Wait a minute.
All right. I wanted the name.
Wait a minute.
I was not a pay the running back that kind of money.
You're going back to Saquon? Come on now.
Oh, I had a good year.
We do this every day.
BS. I had a good year.
BS.
Oh, yeah, you wore the propeller hat twice, brother.
BS.
I had a good year in 2025.
You've had two propeller hats.
But I owned it.
Did the Mets win the division?
No,
right,
that's a good one.
You gave
Thank
up.
you.
That's the dumbest thing. Because Connor, thank you. Because I was just about to say it. That's the dumbest thing maybe that was said on the show.
That's a good point.
In 2025, that's the dumbest thing that was said on this show.
I chose to forget that.
They just missed it by 13 games.
Yeah. No, when the trade deadline happened, after that sweep, when the Mets swept the Phillies, you were on vacation.
Yes, I remember.
Jerk. You didn't deal with the pain the way we did.
No, I had Met fans in the pool down in Avalon telling me, man, your partner said the Mets are winning.
Yep.
And I'm like, well, my partner's a dope.
And then they went to the trade deadline, and they had a better trade deadline. But what did it matter? Nothing. Phillies turned things around. You're right. That is a good one.
At least the Ravens had a good playoff run.
Well, if it wasn't for a missed field goal.
Well, if your aunt had, she'd be your uncle.
If it wasn't for a missed field goal.
A bounce here, a bounce there. They've got a good
bounce
club.
Here. Come on, Dave Dombrowski. Tell me more.
No, I never thought they were going to make some run in the playoffs. I thought they were going to make the playoffs.
If it wasn't for Trey Turner making that throw.
And at 1-4, I came awfully close.
Other than the shooting, Mrs. Lincoln.
See, look, you're giving me crap for that one. The Mets one was egregious. The
Mets one was terrible.
Ravens one came down. By the way, at 1-4, they came down a week 18.
And by the way, the Mets one was the week leading up to Labor Day.
Yes.
I mean, it was late. You had a lot of data to work on that one, and you bailed on the Phillies and bet on the loser choker Mets.
Phillies hurt me, man. That series,
it was ridiculous.
That series broke me.
I understand, but
I was not okay that week.
I was so disappointed when I heard that. I said,
was disappointed in the Phillies, John.
I said, well, so was I. It sucked, but there was no way the Mets were coming back and beating them.
All right. What are some things that you have recently been wrong on? You can text in 610-632-0975 to the Davis Honda text line. You can leave a voice memo too if you're strong enough. Admit it. Put your voice to it. Or you can put it on YouTube, even though YouTube's never wrong.
They're never wrong?
We're always wrong. YouTube is always right.
No, they're wrong. I remember the YouTube chat with the
Commanders.
Oh, yeah, the Commanders.
That was a big one.
I remember, and nobody would take the bet that they were, remember? I challenged for the bet.
Yeah.
The Commanders. And then remember.
Chris has disappeared for a while.
And remember that it was also, too, when in 2024, when I told Connor and Andrew that they had to have plans on NFC Championship weekend after the collapse of 2023 that they would have a home game NFC Championship pregame show to plan for. I was called a homer from the time I said it, and I said it in the spring.
Yeah.
And I was called a homer. Oh, homer radio. Oh, here it is. Pom pom. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and never got a.
I've realized one thing in this industry. If you like the team remotely, you're a homer.
Yes. Well,
see, I don't believe that.
I don't with the Phillies.
Okay, but you get it for the Sixers. We all got it for the Eagles. Like, that Eagles year was the most dominant season we've ever seen the Eagles have, and we got called homers for it.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, is what I'm saying is I was getting ridiculed for saying it long before the season started.
Yeah.
And then even when the season got rolling, people wouldn't move off and then it was like, oh, no, maybe the dope's going to be right. Because look, I'll say it when I'm wrong too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm the first one to say when I'm the.
Now the beauty of all this, we're having fun with it, but what got this thing started? VJ Edgecom, Eastern Conference Rookie of the Month, Ace Bailey. Not saying he's not going to be a good basketball player in the NBA. The Sixers do not have the season they're having if they drafted Ace Bailey. Now it wasn't about 2026. All right, that draft selection, but it is. I think it. Do you agree? Do you disagree?
You ready for the sliding doors butterfly effect moment? Do the Sixers still have Jared McCain on this roster if they draft Ace Bailey?
Yes.
Yeah, because they don't have an abundance of guards. But I don't know what does that go against they're not having the season that they're having?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. In this year, they're much better because they have VJ Edgecom. But you guys have been very, very upset that Jared McCain's no longer on this basketball
Well, yeah, because
team.
it was an unnecessary trade.
It doesn't happen if you have Ace
It's not
Bailey.
because I think Jared McCain's the greatest player in the world. It was an unnecessary trade, and he could have helped you.
Listen, just something to think about.
Okay. I would rather have VJ Edgecom than Jared McCain. How's that sound?
Okay, fair. I would
right.
as well.
All
I agree.
right. So then I never wanted Ace Bailey. I wanted VJ Edgecom at the draft. I did not want Ace Bailey.
But the thing is, wouldn't you rather have VJ Edgecom and Jared McCain?
Yes. That's why I was angry about the trade.
Well, yeah,
because it was unnecessary.
That's the reality of the situation.
I wasn't angry when the trade happened. I was angry when the ensuing move never happened. That's when I got angry. And then we've seen him play pretty well for the Thunder. Thunder, big win last night against Luka, getting hurt. Not good. Not good for my man.
Terrible.
Rough way to end it. He could have won MVP this year. All right, coming up next, today's headlines.
One game short.
I know, one game. That's horrible. We have today's headlines of Connor's House. Before that, fair or unfair? I saw a name yesterday that we have to discuss. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic.
Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
All right, we have today's headlines with Connor Thomas coming up here in a moment. Let's check the polls of the day. We have polls. Thanks to Dr. Avidan Appel, Iron Mountain Men's Health. You can have 2 strong polls. Thanks to him. What do we got this morning, Connor?
I believe it's still one a person, but he can help multiple people.
He's the science. Connor's the science guy.
That's right.
He proved it yesterday.
I don't know if metamorphosis could lead to 2. I don't know. What do we got?
I'm staying away from caterpillars then.
I'm not touching any of this. Our first poll, what is the more likely scenario as the winner team's playoff pushes continue? The Sixers hold on to the 6th seed or the Flyers make the playoffs? 76%, funny, are saying the Sixers hold on to the 6th seed. Only 24% saying Flyers make the playoffs. Our second poll, Bryce Harper currently ranks 235th in baseball in exit velocity. Do you believe he will turn it around, or is this the beginning of a decline? 38% saying he'll turn it around.
Wow.
62% are saying beginning of a decline.
Now, I thought it would. I told you I thought it would be 60-40, but I thought it would be 60-40 the other way.
Whoa. All right, hold on. Are we in panic mode with Bryce Harper?
Why? No, whoa. Why would you? Why are you portraying the people as being in panic mode?
No, like, are we starting to get worried?
I don't think that's.
I'm not saying like panic, like bad, like you're an idiot for panicking. I'm like, are there? How many people out there are like, this is it, this is bad?
Now remember, the standard for Bryce Harper is different than the standard for someone else.
Sure.
So the drop off for Bryce Harper is more precipitous. So when people are looking at it, they're looking at through the prism of you're saying, well, Bryce Harper's not that bad but from what Bryce Harper is,
yeah, but of the 62%, how many of them are like? I'm curious. That's a lot of people.
I think they just don't believe anymore.
Okay.
I think they believe that. I think they believe, and I think they're looking at him and they're going, like I asked Scott Lauber, is he having fun anymore?
I know.
Because he looks like a miserable guy.
He's telling you that he is, but it doesn't really come off as much.
He looks miserable.
All right. So we have headlines coming up in a moment. So to start the 8 o'clock hour, let's discuss this. I want text right now. 610-632-0975. Voice memos right now. Calls right now. YouTube comments right now. Where are you at with Bryce Harper in terms of, like, worry? A worry meter of Bryce Harper. If over 60% of our people on this poll are saying it's the beginning of a decline, is it, well, yeah, he's not going to be the same elite Bryce Harper, and I feel that.
And that's where if you say decline, you can't just go, oh, my God, you're panicking. A decline for Bryce Harper is different than a decline for someone else.
But I wonder how many people think it's, like, bad. I'm curious.
Well, is it
610-632-0975?
Is it a JT decline?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, real quick, fair or unfair? I was watching. My wife and I went to lunch yesterday. I had a little date.
That's awesome. Surprise.
And on the TV, Augusta National Women's Amateur Tournament going on right now.
Right.
And the leader, her last name is Tally. So I am very big in my Lithuanian heritage, and I'm all about, like, names that mean something.
Okay.
Right? Connor, this girl is Greek. I know you have Greek heritage. And the word that means little star, like that's my little star in Greek.
Is Tally?
No, that's her last name.
No, was that what Tally is?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Her first name is Asterisk.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay, but isn't that an also star?
It means little star. That's what
Okay.
it means, little star. But, like, Asterisk is a tough name to go by.
Yeah, but I'm sure that if she has a nickname, something like that, right?
I don't know. We didn't have the audio on.
I mean, I'm sure she has some sort of a nickname that she goes by.
I don't see any nicknames on her wiki page.
Yeah, Asterisk.
No, but I mean,
Tally.
it's
I don't know.
I mean, like,
It's
there's a lot of
I
that.
feel like that's a tough name.
I tell you all the time.
I guess.
I said the names. I tell you all the time about the kids in my generation of my family are all John, Tom, Daniel, David, William.
Yeah, and then
in my generation, it's like the bold and the beautiful. Like the names of my next generation of cousins, it's like a soap opera names. Like I'm like, wait, all these names, they're awesome names.
Yeah.
They're much better than John.
right.
But they all got named out of like, you know.
Asterisk.
Yes.
It's a hard word to say sometimes.
It is a tough one to say.
Oh,
And
it's
as
a
a little
terrible name to
kid,
say.
like, hi, my name's Asterisk.
Especially if you have any kind of a impediment.
Yeah, it's
You're
tough.
in real trouble.
All right, time now for today's headlines at Connor Thomas.
Today's headlines with the Connor Thomas.
It's brought to us by Lundy Law. For over 70 years, Lundy Law has been fighting for injured people. If you need them, remember the name, Lundy Law, your injury lawyers. Visit LundyLaw.com. That's LundyLaw.com. We got a great opportunity with the Final Four getting ready to start. Michigan being a part of it. Have you seen the opportunity of what you get a chance to watch for the alternate cast of Michigan's Final Four game?
No.
Oh, what?
They're getting the Fab Five back together.
That's okay. Cool. I'm in.
It's a must-watch.
Oh, I'm in. That's awesome.
I usually hate alternate, bro. I've talked about a Manning cast. Like, I'll watch the clips. That's pretty freaking.
That is awesome.
That's really
True
cool.
TV and HBO Max is where you can find the alternate cast of Michigan versus Arizona with the Fab Five on it. It's something that I think is worth checking
Here's
out.
also what makes it good. A lot of those guys are media trained.
Yes.
Like Chris Webber's been in the media. Jalen Rose has been in the media.
Now, they all, by the way, they didn't all, if I remember from the 30 for 30 or something, they did not all they also had like some beef after time there. They weren't always tight. I think afterwards, and then they've come back together. I mean, I'm really in on that. I am all in on that. That may be the best one I've ever heard.
Because usually, like, the national championship game in football, the coaches broadcast is cool. I like it. But the main broadcast is just so good. What's his name? The college, for ESPN. Oh my
Chris
God.
Fowler?
Chris Fowler. Like, he's so good that I don't want to miss Chris Fowler.
Right. My boy Brian Finneran did the Villanova national championship game with the shot. And it was an amazing moment for him.
Oh, absolutely.
And they did a great job with it.
Yeah.
I love it. But that Fab Five, that may be the best I've ever heard.
That's cool.
I'm not normally in on these alternate cast things. I also hear a fun little quirk they're doing is they're giving Chris Webber 1 second half timeout to use.
It's good work.
Very good.
We'll see how it goes. Not speaking of anything. That has nothing to do with that at all. I just like to try and give lead-ins. But this is a really interesting baseball story. Did you see the deal that Connor Griffin signed with the Pittsburgh Pirates yesterday?
I did. It's amazing. Look, the kid looks like he's going to be a freaking stud. And the Pirates did that stupid, let's not call him up right away, service time.
Well, they waited for the home opener, right, to bring him up.
Right.
Yes, he will be up for the home opener with a brand new 9-year, $140 million deal before ever making a major league debut.
Well, they saw how well it worked for Scotty Jetpacks, and they thought, we're going to try to copy that.
Dude, that man, you just opened up a box of memories.
Were you bought in?
No.
I was not either, and I couldn't believe it the day it happened.
I believe the Phillies screwed him up. I thought he was going to be a solid baseball player.
I thought he was going to be a solid baseball player.
There was comps to Chase Utley and Dustin Pedroia, which I was like, whoa.
Yeah, that's all that was.
Slow down here before we talk about those two guys. Them not having a set position for him when he was a good second baseman.
And they said he could play like he could be the super. They gave him that contract, and I remember them saying he could be a super utility guy.
Ben Zobrist. They wanted him to be Ben Zobrist. Ben Zobrist, Rays, Cubs, played second,
and I'm like, are you kidding me?
Outfield. He had no arm.
Yeah, it did not work out well for the Phillies.
Like he had a noodle arm.
I'd imagine this works out better for the Pirates, but we will see.
Yeah, that guy is he's the youngest since Juan Soto to be making a debut, 19 years old.
And he's already paid. So congratulations to Connor Griffin. Big year for Connors. Connor Hellebuck in the Olympics.
Where do you fall in on this?
Easy 3. Easy 3.
Connor, you know why it's a big year for Connors? Is nobody was named back in the day. There weren't many Connors.
That's true. We're on the rise.
It is. You're everywhere.
Something else that's on the rise is the amount of respect that is being given to Bam Adebayo after his 83-point game, according to Bam Adebayo. This via NBA Courtside, talking about how his time in the NBA has changed since scoring the 83 points.
When I step on the court now, it's like, yeah, you have to guard me now. I can make 7 threes in a game. I can get to the foul line. The plays run through me. I think it's a different level of respect for my offensive game.
What? What is he talking about?
Since when did people not guard Bam Adebayo?
Yeah, he's a very good basketball player. Like, Bam Adebayo is a really, really good basketball
player. What's
player.
he talking about?
I don't like what this guy.
Now I get respect.
Dude, this guy.
What is he talking about?
Mark my words. Will use that game for the rest of his life.
And more power to him. He should.
like, I love it. I'm not saying this in a negative way by any means. All right.
What?
Vince Papale he uses that forever, right? Like the Invincible in the movie, and for good reason, right? Like it also provides him with income, right? Like he does special guest appearances.
Sure.
Bam Adebayo is going to use that for the rest of his life.
The only thing is, though, in the NBA community, his peers aren't looking at it as. I think his peers look at it as a level of disrespect.
No, they respect him more. You just heard him say.
Yeah, guess what?
That's what he's trying to him now.
That's what he's trying to convince himself. NBA players don't look at him as even in Kobe's zip code.
Before, people were like, "Who's this Bam Adebayo guy?" But now they scored 83.
That's unbelievable.
You put the league on notice.
All right,
that's unbelievable.
Coming up next, over 60% of our voters so far believe this is the beginning of the decline for Bryce Harper.
This is crazy.
How strong of a decline are we talking about here? I'm curious. Fire away at the text line, voice memos, YouTube, 610-632-0975. And, of course, we will update you on everything that you are supposed to keep an eye on tonight. Sixers, Flyers, 2 monster games tonight. We also need to see an outing out of Aaron Nola to ease our worries as well. It is Kincade and Salciunas. A lot of stuff to get into next here on The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Flyers fall to Detroit. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Flyers came up short against the Red Wings last night, 4-2, the final in that one. Tyson Forster did make his return to play, scoring a goal in his first game back since being injured on December 1st, but it was not enough to find the victory. Flyers are still just 2 points out of a playoff spot, so they're not dead yet. They played the Islanders on the road tonight, 7 p.m. You can hear that game live over on WMMR. Sixers have a big weekend. They play the Timberwolves tonight, the Detroit Pistons tomorrow. Joel Embiid is still dealing with an illness, so his status up in the air for tonight's game. You can hear it live here, 7 p.m. on 97.5 The Fanatic, and you can also hear our Rookie of the Month in the Eastern Conference, VJ Edgecom, winning that honor. The Phillies start a 3-game series in Colorado against the Rockies today. First pitch is at 4:10. Aaron Nola versus Michael Lorenzen in the pitching matchup. The Union play Charlotte FC tomorrow at 7:30. They're still looking for their first MLS win this season. Kevin Nagandi will join us coming up at 9 a.m. Tony Jones of The Athletic joins us at 9:30 to talk about the Sixers and their playoff push. This update is brought to you by the Positive Coaching Alliance. Questions about youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, develops better athletes and better people through sports. Info at positivecoach.org. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and The Fanatic.
98.5 The Fanatic Philadelphia. More of Kincade and Salciunas coming your way now.
All right, we start the 8 o'clock hour with a focus on Bryce Harper. So we got a bunch of topics on hand today on this Good Friday, Payday Friday, Friday, where we have two big games tonight, Sixers and Flyers. Flyers pretty much playing for their lives tonight.
Yes.
Last night was a kick in the stones. I had a moment at like 6:20 this morning.
No, you had a moment at 4:55.
I did.
In the parking lot.
In the parking lot where I got out of my car and I said, bleep the Flyers. It was such a Philadelphia fan.
You were just like, you were venting.
Yeah, I love them. But it was a bleep the Flyers, and because that was a bad loss. It's two straight bad losses when things have been going your way.
And everything, like every game that they needed to have the last two, Tuesday and Thursday night, went their way.
Yeah. If they won both games, they're in a playoff spot right now. Now, I'm not asking them to win every single game.
How about if they had won both games, their playoff chances would be like 60-something%.
Yeah. The two major losses for the Flyers this week.
Terrible.
They look to bounce back tonight against the Islanders. The Sixers begin their first of a back-to-back against the T-Wolves tonight. Tomorrow, the Pistons. I need Joel Embiid to play in both games. All right, I can't do the.
Did you give him a wake-up call?
I don't know yet.
Make sure he makes the team meeting today.
No bubble wrap this weekend. None. Joel Embiid's got to play in both games, please. But we got into a discussion about Bryce Harper because Jason Stark, let's play the clip again, Connor. Jason Stark was on with our friends Unfiltered yesterday, and he brought up a pretty concerning stat about Bryce Harper.
I noticed something bizarre about Bryce today. I was just thinking about how little hard contact it feels like he's made so far. So I decided I would check where he ranks in average exit velocity. And according to StatCast, there are 276 full-time players. So by that, we're saying guys who average more than 3 plate appearances a game. And where would you guess that Bryce ranks in average exit velocity in that group? And just for frame of reference, in 2020, he was 6th in baseball. In 2021, he was 9th best in baseball. The next 2 years, he was in the top 20 in baseball. How about 235th? The leaderboard, if you look at it, it's early in the year, but there are guys who are averaging 98, 99 miles an hour average exit velocity. Bryce is 84.8, so a little less than 85 miles an hour. And I get that it's early. On the other hand, doesn't it feel like that's an accurate depiction of how out of sync he's looked?
And so one of our questions for you is, do you believe Bryce Harper will turn things around, or is this the beginning of the decline? And a decline, to your point, John, could
For Bryce Harper, a decline is different. A decline is going from, which I believe, Dave Dombrowski was not incorrect, he was an elite player, and now he's going to being a little below an elite player.
Right. And that stat, as I said earlier, look, he had a couple of throw the bat at the ball hits that rolled softly, so that's going to impact your exit velocity in a much negative way. The home run that he hit, I wonder how much that changed his average, right? So that could change if he gets hot. Question is, how many people are expecting him to get hot? Because 60% of our voters on our poll believe this is the beginning of a decline.
I did not expect this when we were having the conversation.
But John, it goes back to a topic we had last year where we were asking where you're at with Bryce Harper, right? Just where are you? And it shifted. A lot of people weren't like, Bryce Harper is my favorite anymore. And then he heard boos in the opening homestand that he has never really, truly heard before. Consistent boos, right? Like,
consistent.
Yeah, he's booed when he's come up small in a big spot. But now it's like, the back-to-back-to-back games of offers, I started hearing boos from the crowd.
And I said it to you before, and I truly believe this. I think he's brought this on himself.
Yeah, it was a weird off-season.
I think it was a weird off-season of being offended at what he shouldn't have been offended at, and he made himself the victim, and then he did the not elite, which then puts more pressure on himself, and then he tries to make Dave Dombrowski the bad guy. And, look, I don't think the fan base really wants to back Dave Dombrowski.
No.
But the fan base inadvertently backed Dave Dombrowski and didn't in any way take his side. He was waiting for people to take his side and go against Dave Dombrowski. They didn't.
No, they didn't.
They didn't. They were like, yeah, dude, have you watched your play? Have you watched, and stop whining and just play. Just play.
So, Connor, what do we have on the Davis Honda text line? You can feel the Davis difference. Check them out in Burlington. We love Davis Honda.
Nice people.
Yeah, they're great people. Got to hang out with them the other night at the Sixers game. It was awesome. What do we have on the text line? Because I'm curious. When somebody says decline, do they believe to what John's saying, hey, he goes from elite to above average? Or is there anybody that's, legitimately concerned that this is going to be remember when Ryan Howard, now his was totally different.
His was steep.
It was the Achilles, right?
And it was steep.
And he was never the same. No. Bryce Harper's not dealing with, knock on wood, an Achilles injury that he's recovering from. But he's played, this is his 15th season in Major League Baseball. He's played a lot of ball. What do we got?
VT Ron checks in, says, hey, fellas, I'm voting on the beginning of the decline. I think his best days are behind him. He'll be an average player coming in the next couple of years.
Average? Wow, I do not believe that.
That would be horrible.
Average means you're middle of the pack. Bryce Harper's not going to be a middle of the pack player in the next couple years.
If he's average, they're not making the playoffs this year.
No, they're not. I don't think they're making the playoffs if he's an average player.
If he's an average baseball player, they're not making the playoffs.
And I don't believe I'm not. Look, and I'm one of the people that banged the drum saying, yes, I do believe that Dave Dombrowski, what he was saying was correct. He hasn't been an elite player in a while, and I don't think it was incorrect for Dave Dombrowski. Maybe a bad timing for Dave Dombrowski to say it, but
that entire press conference was
Dombrowski just doesn't. You don't have to say every. My wife has said it to me many times, John. You don't have to say every thought that comes in your head.
Yeah.
Dave Dombrowski said he said the quiet part out loud, and though it was legitimate, I think it was legitimate. He said it out loud.
All right, Connor, what else we got?
This texter checks in, says there are a ton of miles on Bryce Harper's tires. It's completely natural at this point in his career to have his natural abilities, a.k.a. bat speed, decline. Him appearing to be miserable could be a mental thing that Harper is recognizing it himself.
Now, here's the thing. If his bat speed is declining, then that's not a good sign.
Well, you see it, right?
Yeah, we've seen him late on fastballs, right? More and more over the last couple of years.
He doesn't look like himself.
He doesn't.
No.
I do think it's more mental than ability right now.
Okay, can he get back, Connor and Andrew? Do you think he will ever be an elite player again?
How long of a stretch are we talking for?
No, we're at the end of a season. We're going to say that was an elite season from Bryce
Harper. I think this is the last year for it.
So you do think we're going to see it this year?
We might get one more year.
Yeah,
I do not. We haven't seen it the last few years, so I don't think we're going to see it this year.
So I'll tell you,
you do believe it.
2 years ago we saw it.
You do believe it.
But this is the last chance for it. I don't think if we're talking decline, and we're starting to see things that it's all right, he's showing his age, right? We see that in sports all the time. It's not Bryce Harper's fault.
No,
Father Time always wins. You start to see age come out from a player. And if we're starting to see that now in 2026, it's only going to get worse in 27 and in 28.
And I think to me, and it's just a belief system to me, I think that the yoked up guys, the over-gymmed guys, decline faster. And Tiger Woods
I don't see him as a yoked up guy.
Tiger Woods is one of those guys.
I see him as 15 years in Major League Baseball.
Okay. And I see it as a guy, too, a little more not the typical looking to the build and everything like that of a Major League Baseball player. He was a guy who was always wanting to have the six-pack and the underwear, his underwear ads and things like that. He wanted that, and that's what he was about. He wanted that physique and all that. That's a lot. There's some baseball players who are really into that.
I don't think that has anything to do with it.
Okay, that's good. Yeah. I do, and it's I think that guys like that.
I think it's his violent swing
decline faster.
I think his back.
I think being tightened up, being very bulked up and tightened up, I think hurts your body, and I don't think that's what baseball players are meant to be. I think they're meant to be more plyometrics, more flexible.
We need more Bartolo Colognes in baseball.
No, I don't mean fat. Saying fat.
All right, what else we got? And then we'll touch on some other topics here. But I'm just curious. I wonder how many people we have an average text.
Now,
our man VT Ron.
Real quick before you get back to that, I do have Baseball Savant up here because I wanted to look at the bat speed, not just the exit velocity.
Okay.
To the point this year, and his bat speed is not in a bad spot. Right, he's around guys like Pete Crow Armstrong, Bobby Witt, Mike Trout. Like they're.
But if you're not connecting, what does it care?
Well, what we're talking about is the decline. If you are connecting, that's not a decline physically, right? If the bat speed's there, that's a decline in ability to make contact, which could just be a timing thing. That's the point. It's not like Bryce Harper. When you look at a pitcher, think about Aaron Nola last year. We started to lose a lot of faith because the velocity dropped off a cliff. Like, it's not just that he wasn't spotting. It was that he's throwing 91.
His curveball had no movement to it anymore.
No movement.
Yeah.
Flat.
Like when Bryce Harper's bat speed starts to drop, that's when I'm like, oh, we're in some trouble here.
And that's why, again, the exit velocity stat, not that Jason Stark was wrong to put it out there, but there is context to it. If this guy is on, he's not going to be throwing his hands at pitches and then hitting little tappers.
The one thing you hear on the Phillies broadcast and on national broadcast, Bryce Harper during the World Baseball Classic and on the local broadcast, he looks late on everything.
Yeah, it could be a time.
What does that tell you on a baseball player, though, as they age? That's what you start to say.
I don't think that's got to do with age right now. That's more of a mechanical thing.
An early season. I don't know.
Wait a minute, early season though. He played more meaningful swings this spring than he's played since the last World Baseball Classic.
Yeah, but if his timing was off and he didn't figure it out then, he's still working on it.
Maybe he's not used to getting fastballs because he had Aaron Judge behind him.
Yeah, exactly. That's what he wanted.
Maybe
that's what he wanted. He banged that drum.
All right, Aaron Nola today on the mound against the Rockies.
Cloudy with the chance of meatballs.
How much do we need to see a solid outing?
What's a solid outing?
Give me the old quality start. 4.50 ERA, 6 innings, 3 earned runs.
4.50 ERA
for your number 4 pitcher in the rotation, even though he was game 2 starter. But
I need to see him. I need to see. It's a Rockies team. It's not good. I need to see 6 innings or 5 something, 5 point something, and I need to see him walk off the mound with 2 runs or less today.
Okay. He finished his first line of the year was the 5 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs,
which wasn't horrible.
No,
it's just the home runs.
It's the home runs,
which he can't control.
That's his killer.
He can't keep him in the
2
park.
long balls.
Sure. Again, I've said this about him a billion times. I'll say it again here. He is not a guy that optically fits the modern game. The way he pitches does not fit to what baseball wants to be, because 1, he doesn't throw gas, and 2, he gives up the long ball, which everybody sees as a killer. Like, that stat line is fine from his first start. The bigger problem with his first start is the offense didn't do crap, so it looked even worse. And we were already mad at the team for not having.
But putting the team behind
the home runs are killer. Especially it was 1-0 in the first inning, right? Like literally, right away. It's like, all right, here we go, 1-0, and it's the way that it always is.
Teams sag when Aaron Nola's on the mound. Teams sag.
I mean, if you're sagging down 1-0 in the first, I'd say that's more on the offense.
Yeah, especially that early on.
Yeah, but it's more because of the fact is that you go, here we go again, and it's years of here we go again with Nola, with the meatballs.
Yeah, I just think people are looking at it like, oh no, another Aaron Nola year, and that is not what I got from the performance. The home runs have always been the issue. He's had great seasons where he's been a really good pitcher for this team, where he's been near the top in Major League Baseball in home runs allowed. It's something people just got to accept with him. The bar for Aaron Nola he can't give up home runs, because he's always going to give up home runs.
And he is.
Yeah, the problem is when there's guys on base.
Yeah, I mean he's just not.
But it's not changing. So we have to evaluate everything
then what do you need
it.
to see out of him today? Because you are Mr. Nola over there.
I'd like to see him just get deeper into the game. I'd like to see 6 innings or more from Aaron Nola.
But how many runs?
Well,
how many home runs?
If you get through 6. I don't care about home runs. If you get through 6 with 3 earned or less, that's fine for me.
Quality start. That's what you're asking for. That's what I'm asking for. That's all I'm asking for. I'm not asking for Aaron Nola of 2018. Like,
I think a 4.5 ERA. It's so funny that people are like, "That's quality start." 4.5 ERA sucks.
It's not great.
A 4.5 ERA isn't like people. Nobody would say a 4.5 ERA is quality.
Would you take a 4.5 over a 6.01?
Yes, but the thing is, though, a 4.5 ERA. It's so funny the quality start stat. Because nobody is looking at 4.5 ERA and go, that's a quality ERA. That's a good number. No, it's not.
Nobody is saying that.
No, but they do. Baseball does. They call it a quality start.
All right, and then Sixers Flyers both in action tonight. It's a bar night. If you can do it,
you can do it
so that you can have the 2 screens rocking. Both games starting at 7:00. Sixers at home against the Timberwolves. That game right here on 97.5. The Fanatic. Flyers will be at the Islanders. 7 o'clock puck drop. That game can be heard on WMMR. Both games not equal importance because the Flyers are fighting for their lives, whereas the Sixers are going to at least be in the play-in. But to avoid the play-in, you got to keep on winning games. Sixers are currently tied record-wise with the Raptors, but they have the tiebreaker, so that's why the Sixers are the 6th seed. That loss that the Raptors had the other day to the Kings changed a lot of the conversation. But it starts tonight. It starts with Joel Embiid playing. And it starts with Joel Embiid playing both games this weekend. I have to see it. Connor, you're more like me when it comes to the big man. Are you in the have to see it club? Or, forget expecting. But do you have to see it?
Why would I have to see it if it's not going to happen? That's where we're so different in the way we consume sports. Like, me and both of you guys, I think, is because if it's not going to happen, I'm not going to sit here and be like, well, I have to see it. He's not playing both games. He's not going to play the back-to-back. And whether he should or not, we can have that argument, but ultimately, what I say doesn't matter. He's not going to play both games. We know this about the way they handle Joel Embiid and the way he's been in his career.
All right. Should Paul George play both games?
Absolutely.
Because Paul George is a don't-play back-to-backs guy.
No, he absolutely should.
Okay, so why shouldn't Joel Embiid?
I'm not saying he shouldn't. That's what you're missing.
No, but you're saying it like he absolutely should. Like almost like you. It sounded like you will be angry if Paul George doesn't play both games.
Yes.
Why don't we keep the same energy with the big man?
Because I'm over it. Because I don't have that energy anymore. How many times do you need to see it before you just like stop? Oh, he has to play both games.
No, but I'm gonna hold it to that standard. Like I will be upset if I find out that he's not playing both games of the back-to-back. I will be upset about it.
Yeah, but you're Charlie Brown falling for the Lucy football kick. I'm just done trying to kick the football.
It's what I said to you earlier. I said I can't. I always admire. I do admire how you live your life. But I have sympathy for you for how you live your life because you let this continue. You put.
I'm
faith,
setting myself up for pain.
No, but you put faith in people who don't deserve your faith. He doesn't deserve your faith. This guy couldn't even show up for a team meeting the other day. While this team's fighting for the playoffs.
Bubonic plague, dude.
Stop.
Do you think Sisyphus gets mad when he sees the boulder roll back down the hill?
Jason Martinez and I would like to have a word with him about showing up for work when you're a little sick. Like, have a little word with you. Please stop it. Cry me a river. Get out the world's smallest violin. Stop making excuses for people who don't take life seriously. Like, it's just like enough. This should have been a major issue.
Yeah, I say mocking.
I mean, he should
have played against the Wizards.
It's terrible. Absolutely terrible.
Tony Jones joins us at 9:30 today. Was there a quiet suspension? A one game, kind of like the Nick Castellanos 1 game suspension last year.
That one wasn't so quiet.
Yeah, no, that one. No, everybody at that stadium could hear it because there's like 12 people that go to Marlins games.
Oh man, they really pack them in, don't they?
A lot. They did it at the World Baseball Classic, man.
I told you before. Move the 2 Florida teams out of Florida. They're the 2 problem franchises. You already have Oakland going to Vegas. 2 problem franchises, get them out of Florida and leave Florida to spring training.
Or sign Austin Wells, who's clearly from the Dominican Republic. He might get a lot of fans. All right, coming up next, John Kincade has a question about, we haven't talked about it all day today, the Jalen Hurts story. And Johnny, I can't believe I'm going to say this. I'm not even going to answer your question.
Well, you're in vacation mode already?
No, I'm going to have, I might get sick. Emmanuel Acho do the talking?
Are you kidding me?
Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey, if you're looking to get engaged, it's the best time at Benari Jewelers because they've got their April bridal event coming up next weekend. So you got plans this weekend with the family on Easter weekend. But April 10th through the 12th, it's Benari's fantastic event. It's the best event of the year. And with it, interest-free financing with approved credit, you don't want to miss it because not only are they going to have an amazing selection of their fabulous rings and bands, but the selection is going to be double the norm because top designers will be there showcasing their entire lines. It's amazing. And the interest-free financing just makes it even better. You can get more details at BenariJewelers.com. It comes up next weekend. the 10th, the 11th, and the 12th. So Benari Jewelers in Exton and Newtown Square will get you set up. Any size, any style, any cut that you're looking for, they've got it. You're going to love the rings. You're going to love the price. You're going to love the diamonds. And you're going to love all my friends at Benari with up to 20% savings. Visit Exton in Newtown Square. Benari Jewelers, they've got you covered with their amazing event. That's next weekend. So make your plans now.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Flyers hanging by a thread. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Flyers came up short against the Red Wings last night, 4-2, the final in that game. Tyson Forster did make his return to play, scoring a goal in his first game back since being injured on December 1st, so that was good to see. But the Flyers' playoff hopes, they're hanging by a thread. They're just 2 points out of a playoff spot. They play the Islanders on the road tonight at 7 p.m. Another huge one for them. You can hear that game live over on WMMR. Sixers have a big weekend. Minnesota Timberwolves in town tonight. Joel Embiid is still dealing with an illness, so we'll see if he's available for tonight's game. He's listed as doubtful currently. You can hear tonight's game at 7 p.m. here on the Fanatic. Then they got the Pistons tomorrow night, so big back-to-back. VJ Edgecom, a big award for him. He won Eastern Conference Rookie of the Month. The Phillies started a 3-game series in Colorado against the Rockies today. First pitch, 4:10 p.m. Aaron Nola versus Michael Lorenz. And Jason Stark joined Unfiltered yesterday. Talked about the Phil starts of the season.
See the leadoff man's hitting 167. Number 2 hitters hitting 174. Number 3 hitters hitting 136. And the cleanup hitters hitting 208. And then I'm going to tell you, that's not the Phillies lineup. That's the Dodgers lineup. I mean, just a reminder, it's not just the Phillies.
So good perspective as we're just 6 games in. The Union play Charlotte FC tomorrow at 7:30. Still searching for their first MLS win this season. This update is brought to you by Comer & Cross. Upgrade your garage in one day with Comer & Cross. Take 50% off installation now. Call 1-800-NEW-FLOOR or go to ComerCross.com. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and The Fanatic.
Kincade Salciunas, Philly Sports Talk, 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
Dude, I just saw such a crazy stat that shows one of the big problems of the NBA.
What is it?
You're going to have to wait a few minutes.
Oh. So you're teasing me.
Literally just popped up my timeline.
Okay, that's good.
And it's a big problem for the NBA. And I'll give that to you coming up in a few minutes here. But I need Emmanuel Acho to do the talking for me, which
this is incredible. I can't wait for this.
That sounds so weird.
By the way, he is not on my. I took him. He is on my. I looked in the break because I'm getting the questions for post show headlines.
Yes.
Which is a listener sending questions.
Yes, love Friday.
And I saw he is on my blocked list. Like I put blocked keywords.
Oh,
so he is on my because I just got tired of him and Chase Daniel.
Oh yeah.
So I don't find Chase Daniel and Emmanuel Acho content.
Okay.
I don't even know. I have no idea what you're springing on me.
All right. Well,
I like that.
You start the conversation because you have a question about the Jalen Hurts article that came out.
Yeah, with the Hurts article that we've been talking about. Remember the old Wentz story when my buddy Joe Santoliquito, my high school classmate, wrote, and Joe Santoliquito got told by everybody that he was lying and made up story and wasn't real.
You're not talking about the A.J. Brown one. You're talking about
the Carson Wentz story. Yeah. But within the first, I was wrong because when I put it in the notes to you guys, I said within the first 24 hours, there were tweets from Lane Johnson and Jason Peters trying to say the story was unfair and it wasn't real. Those tweets came out within 6 hours. 2 players coming out going, bullcrap story, Carson's awesome, blah, 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 defending Carson Wentz. How many players have stepped up to discount this story?
Well, I've not seen one step up to discount it, but what I will say is it wasn't that long ago that a lot of players did speak highly. Like Jahan Dawson,
absolutely.
talked about how great a leader
But how many is like this story comes out?
Nobody.
It's just an interesting angle as far as not one. When Carson Wentz was getting roasted, Jason Peters and Lane Johnson, both before lunchtime, the story comes out, came out to publicly tweet in support of Carson Wentz. Not that Jalen Hurts should need. I didn't think it was a hit piece. I thought there were negatives in the piece and there were positives in the piece.
Right, absolutely.
Like, I don't think it was something that anybody had to come out and defend him.
I think it was a state of Jalen Hurts and the Eagles.
But there were things that I would imagine if you're Jalen Hurts, you're not happy about.
Sure.
And if you're Jalen Hurts' camp, you're not happy
about.
You're
wondering who's talking and who's putting all this
exactly.
Out there.
And so to me, I'm surprised that nobody stepped up to say, hey, get off Jalen's backside. That's not true.
Well, I can't believe I'm going to do this, John. I'm going to let Emmanuel Acho do the
Here
talking.
We go. Oh, this is amazing.
The Speakeasy, right? That's their new show or whatever.
I thought it was called the We Don't Tip Well show.
That's LaShawn.
Oh, okay.
Here's Emmanuel Acho talking about the Hurts story.
People want to suggest, hey, how come people are source leaking things on Jalen Hurts? Because when Brandon Graham put an address on it, everybody got mad at him for speaking the truth. And Brandon Graham's maybe the longest tenured Eagle in the history of the organization. So, of course, people are now going to want to be immune and hide behind anonymous sources because the one time somebody really put a name on it, he got cursed out for speaking his truth. And now people are saying BG needs to retire. BG needs to shut the hell up. BG don't know what he's talking about. So I'm trying to offer a nuanced take and a nuanced perspective on all of this. Is Jalen Hurts a winner? Yes. Was this piece and was this hit job relatively unnecessary? Yes. Was there some truth in this statement and was there some truth in this piece? Beyond the shadow of a doubt. Why would somebody stay anonymous? Because the last time a legend spoke truth about the cantankerous relationship between Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown, that player and Brandon Graham got an onslaught of fans hating him.
I think people are just staying out of it.
I think
now you're picking sides.
I think Emmanuel Acho is right and wrong. He's right that that putting a name on it, like people, this is where all the people on Twitter and stuff that are like, See, nobody put their name on these things, so they're not real. No, that's the reason they don't put names on them.
Yeah, because Brandon Graham, deservedly so, got crushed for
and people
for
stay
it.
out of
Yeah.
it. But Brandon Graham should have been quiet. It was a relationship between two teammates that he's nothing to do with.
Right.
He shouldn't have been talking publicly about their relationship and discussing. That's something that shouldn't go on in a locker room, and Emmanuel Acho knows that. You don't do that.
Yeah.
And by the way, the secrets all started to get out again last year.
Right. That was my tinfoil cap theory. Remember, I was going for a walk, and that's when I get in trouble.
I don't think you're incorrect. I think that there are guys that the media members know they can go to get them talking.
A little bit more chit chat.
And look, Brandon Graham in his career has shown to be one of those guys.
But I think there's a lot of staying out of it too, because if you side with Jalen, then it's you're disagreeing with whatever coach may have put it out there, whatever teammate of Jalen's may have put out there. We don't know. A.J. Brown may have been a source, right? Because that's obviously the name that it always comes back to. What if A.J. Brown was a source, and a teammate goes, "Well, I don't want to fight the article because that means I'm fighting with A.J. and I don't want to do that either." I don't know. I don't.
No. You're bringing logical thought to this argument and discussion. I mean, it's not even an argument. You're bringing logical thought to it, and that's true. Those are good points to think about.
If just some knucklehead on the radio went out and started saying all these things, maybe a player goes, "Well, who's this guy?" But these sources are coming from inside the walls, maybe as high up as the general manager.
And again, if they were untrue, the Carson Wentz story, there were players who came out to speak out within 6 hours. And by the way, the story was true.
Well, that's the thing. The story
was true. So that leads you to believe that maybe somebody said, out of love for a teammate,
maybe
they came out to support their teammate.
Or maybe not everybody felt that way. It was
could have been right.
Alshon and Darren Sproles had their issues with Carson Wentz, right? So it's been pretty well documented that those two guys had their issues with Carson Wentz, and other guys didn't. It could have been a split locker room. Carson Wentz had his crew, right? I'm not saying in a bad way, the religious group, but like he had that crew, right?
He did, exactly. It was him and Zach Ertz.
Zach Ertz and a lot of players that were, there was a lot of baptisms that were going on that season, right? Like there was a crew.
Right.
And so I imagine a lot of guys that were in Carson's crew were like, whoa, hold on. We don't feel that way about the guy.
Right. But two of the team leaders on the offensive line came out and had his back publicly. And they were close together in timeline, which may make you believe that, well, did they get asked to do that?
Maybe.
Or did they do it out of love? And they may have done it out of love for a teammate to say, look, we know some of this stuff is real, and we know that this feeling exists about him in the locker room, but we're going to show our support for him publicly. By the way, I admire both of those men for doing that because there's no reason for it. Like, why are you trying to, if somebody in the Eagles locker room is talking this way about Jalen Hurts, first of all, I don't believe it's an overwhelming opinion on Jalen Hurts. Second of all, why are you devaluing your teammate and why are you devaluing your asset? And did the Eagles, in any way, do you think anybody in the front office was a source in this story? Because if that's the case, like, do you think Howie got talked to? You think any scouts got talked to? You think any?
Bill Colarulo had a really interesting thought.
What was his thought? I did not get to hear. I was teaching.
So I was listening to Unfiltered yesterday, and remember the article? I always bring it up. This is when Bo Wolf, Zach Berman, and Shil Kapadia were all with the Athletic, and they put together this big story about how
that was an all-star team.
Howie Roseman loves to.
Oh, yeah.
Work the media the way he wants the message out there, right?
There'll be 3 or 4 guys in the media that will get the same text.
Bill had an interesting opinion. This story drops after the league meetings, after Howie spoke with reporters, after Jeffrey Lurie spoke with reporters. If this story drops before, they have to be asked about said reports.
Or
this story drops afterward. Oh, wait, it's April 2nd. See you guys. We don't see you again until the draft, and we're focusing on the draft.
That's really good thought. Or here's the other thing, too. When you go to these league meetings and things like this, at these things, we used to broadcast every year, not every year, but many, many years at the baseball winter meetings.
Sure.
I'd go and do my radio show at the baseball winter meetings. They'd be in Nashville. They'd be in Orlando. And you'd go to the bar in the building at night, and you'd see
John Middleton's.
Here's all the executives of teams, and they're having they're all their little huddle up at bars, and they're all talking and everything. And you would see media members talking with executives of the teams that they cover on in a casual type setting.
Yeah.
And sometimes those are conversations that are told phones away.
Yep.
Pad and paper away. We're just talking.
Just talking. And
sometimes stuff comes of that. David Murphy and I, of the Philadelphia Inquirer, Murph and I used to have a thing at the winter meetings. I used to see Murphy for a lunch and a beer.
Yeah.
I used to see him when I was in Atlanta, and I'd see him and get caught up on, hey, what's going on with the Phillies? And see him.
There's a lot of chit-chat.
And sometimes there is that conversation is phones off. We're just talking.
I think what a lot of people miss sometimes, and I know it might be hard to imagine this, a lot of the times that this information gets out there, it's from inside.
Right.
And there's a reason why sometimes. I know Schefter tried pushing back on that a little bit. He didn't think that it was some sort of...
Oh, he was angry about it yesterday on McAfee.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. But a lot of... It happens where it might be somebody you're not expecting goes, hey, by the way, this is what's going on.
Here's what I'm going to say to Adam. And when I'll say it to Adam next week when he's with us, if we get back to the subject. Adam was a beat reporter. Adam did all that stuff for a living. He did, I'm sure, hundreds of stories where he used anonymous sources.
Yeah.
Now that you're the major insider with thing, you can't now be like, I hate anonymous sources. Give me a break.
You get the source from the GM.
Give me a
Not
break.
That I'm saying that it's Howie, but if you get
Give me a break.
You're going to use it. All right, coming up next, I saw something about the NBA. It's a really big issue for the league. The number is disgusting. It's Kincade and Salciunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic. All right, let's talk about that FanDuel Sportsbook app. Things are really heating up in the tournament. FanDuel, in partnership with Valley Forge, is giving all customers a profit boost every single game day leading up to the big championship game. We're getting closer. We got games coming up this weekend on Saturday. And you know I'm going to continue to ride with Michigan. Michigan, the favorite over Arizona, Connor. I know you were big on Arizona going into the tournament. We'll see how this one plays out. You can build a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout or try live betting and jump in after tip-off. Best of all, FanDuel, you get paid instantly when you win. So just visit FanDuel.com/local to get started. That's FanDuel.com/local to claim your first profit boost and keep the action going from now until the big championship, which, again, I'm putting my money where my mouth is. Going with the Wolverines. FanDuel, play your game. You got to be 21 plus. Present in Pennsylvania. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as knowledgeable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
All right. Really damning stat for the NBA. I don't know how you change it, because once you allow this to happen, it's going to continue this way unless you get a new commissioner, or if Adam Silver all of a sudden decides to put the hammer down, which I don't see that happening anytime soon. So Tom Haberstroh, who used to do NBC stuff, he used to every once in a while pop up on Sixers games.
Okay.
He does stuff for Yahoo. He's a big NBA guy. And last night was
he's a big NBA guy. Okay.
Last night was supposed to be a big night of marquee matchups in the NBA. So it got him to do a little study because there were a lot of injuries. Now, look, injuries are injuries, right? Like Cade Cunningham is out because he has a freaking collapsed lung, right? Like he's out. Joel Embiid missed a game Wednesday because he was ill. So there's a big difference between collapsed lung and illness. So Tom Haberstroh found every nationally televised game that has happened this season. There have been 23 games on ABC, 52 on ESPN, 80 on NBC/Peacock, 9 only Peacock, and 56 games on Prime. So this totals 220 games that have been on some sort of national platform.
Okay.
He checked how many times the Stars play in these games. Star players are defined in the NBA's player participation policy as players who have been named to an all-star or all-NBA team in the current season or any of the previous 3 seasons. Because remember, they came up with that rule where you have to announce the injury if it's a star player. So that's how they determine a star in the NBA. You've at least been on an all-star team or an all-NBA team in the current or previous 3 seasons. Do you want to take a guess of the 220 games that have been played this year that all the stars played?
17.
A little higher than that.
But 29.
32% of the games. Not even a third.
Oh, my God. That's terrible.
Not even a third of the nationally televised games this year have had the star players that are, watch Luka Doncic and the Lakers take on Joel Embiid and the Sixers.
That's incredible.
Not even a third.
That's terrible. That's terrible.
ABC has had 23 games. They at least have had 43.5% of their games have a star in it. Not even half. That's the highest clip. NBC Peacock with 33.8, Prime with 33.9, ESPN, and we know how much they love the NBA, just 28.8%, and the Peacock only 11% of the games.
And Peacock paid a fortune to buy themselves into
Michael Jordan stuff.
That's NBC. So Peacock's NBC. So they paid a fortune to buy back in.
That is a horrific
that's
number.
Terrible.
Less than a third of the primetime games this year, 220 games, less than a third, have featured the stars. And not started and exited like Luka. They started the game. Was the star available to play less than a third of the times this year?
That's terrible.
Now, how does that change? It never will. Once you allowed this to happen, once you did not stop it immediately, and I think the thought was, well, let's have healthy players come playoff time, and that will make the playoffs really competitive. But that's another message to the fans of the product, of the sport, that you're telling people to not watch the regular season.
The fans, the difference is this, and you saw it with All-Star Weekends where it first started the show. The players of today don't care about building their sport. They don't care. They care about personal branding. They don't care about building the sport. That's not what they're about. And that's just their thing. They care about their own Instagram, their own brand, their own shoe, their own. Whereas the stars that built the league that they now prop themselves up on, that they are now seeing decline, is that those guys, they sacrifice to build a league for them.
And there's 82 games, John. Like,
it's not that hard to like.
And they've done as much as they can to limit the back-to-backs.
And these guys, unlike the era even that Shaq and Kobe played in, if you don't want to go back to Bird and Magic or Michael Jordan, these guys today travel on the most beautiful custom private jets with reclining seats that become beds, so they can lay out, top-notch chefs and food, and these guys live like kings. They from two collective bargaining agreements ago. Yeah. They only stay now at like the highest caliber hotel in the market. They have to identify it. That's why if you heard the players complaining about being in Memphis, they have to stay at a Sheraton.
Okay.
And they have all these video clips now about the players complaining about staying at a Sheraton.
I love Sheraton.
Because they never.
Like a Sheraton.
We do.
Best pillows.
We do.
Best pillows of a hotel.
But you know why they don't?
Oh, yeah.
You know why they don't? Because they stay at Ritz-Carltons and they stay at only the top-notch brands because they've been built in to their collective bargaining agreement. These guys have never had it easier.
No.
And they play less and they do less.
And it's horrible for the product. Like national television games. Like,
they don't care about you.
It's on the league, though. I can't even blame the players. If you told me I got more time off, I'd take more time off. I would. I think a large majority of people
But how do you change it? Like,
I don't know that you can.
Adam Silver's already come up with.
But they didn't tell them to take more time off, Connor.
No, but they're allowing it. It's become more part of the allowed part of the way the NBA operates.
When you say allowed, what do you mean?
They don't get as much backlash. Well, it's just not as much part of.
The players could have always done this.
I know, but it's not what they did. The culture has changed.
So blame the players. Don't blame the league.
I blame the league for allowing the players to have the power to do that. This should have been cracked down on earlier because now we're on year what of load management?
Well, how do you crack down on it?
I don't know. I don't know that you can. That's
it's the players' mentality of wanting to not play. It's not what's the league going to do? If guys don't want to earn their paychecks and don't want to play and don't care enough, what are they going to do?
Look, I get it. If you have a calf strain and you're worried about, I get that, right? Like, look at what happened to Halliburton. And he played through it. Now, granted, it was Game 7 of the NBA Finals. Of course, he's going to play through it. But, I get it. Like, the movement, the shiftiness of NBA players and the athleticism is crazy nowadays. But so is sports science.
Like, I mean, these guys are more, this should be the healthiest generation ever. The most well-trained, the most well-fed, the most everything, the most sleep science, everything. This should be the finest-tuned athletes of all time. Yet, they're the most injured athletes of all time.
Yeah, but this would not happen in football. Now, you can talk about length of the season. This wouldn't happen in football because Goodell wouldn't let it happen.
Well, this doesn't happen in the NHL.
So Adam Silver needs to crack.
Same season, more physical sport.
He needs to crack down on it.
Because they don't care.
Or they get a new commissioner.
They don't care because the NHL is the same length of season.
Right, but it's not on the player. It's ultimately on the league. You could say the players should want to promote the league. It's on the league and the folks making the decision monetarily.
How about one to play, though? It's on the player.
Okay, but that's flown the coop, so let it go. You've got to do something from above the players. And it's on the NBA.
Yeah. By the way, you can buy Sheraton pillows. That's how good they are.
Oh, hell yeah. We're going to give you a couple.
How much?
Bags.
$200.
Oh, no way. No.
I'll take 7.
No, thanks.
All right, coming up next.
My credit card is J. Kincade, numbers 857.
Coming up next, Kevin Negandhi. He'll be able to speak on everything. We'll get his thoughts on the national broadcast
and Sheraton
issue.
Pillows.
It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Flyers miss another chance. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Flyers came up short against the Red Wings last night, 4-2 the final in that one. Tyson Forster did make his return to play, which was a big boost for them. He scored a goal, too, in his first action since December 1st when he sustained an injury that kept him out for months. The Flyers are just 2 points out of a playoff spot. They could have really used the chance, but they play the Islanders on the road tonight at 7 p.m. Another big one. You can hear that game live over on our sister station, WMMR. Sixers have a huge weekend. Minnesota tonight. That game tips off at 7 p.m. You can hear it live here on The Fanatic. Joel Embiid is still dealing with an illness, so his status is in question for tonight's game. Then they've got the back end of a back-to-back with the Pistons tomorrow night. They do have the Eastern Conference Rookie of the Month on their squad, though. VJ Edgecom earning that honor earlier this week. The Phillies start a 3-game series in Colorado against the Rockies today. First pitch of Game 1 is at 4:10 this afternoon. Aaron Nola faces Michael Lorenzen in the pitching matchup, so we'll see if the Phils can build off of the walk-off winner they had against the Nationals on Wednesday. The Union They're just trying to find their first one. They play Charlotte FC tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. They're still searching for their first MLS win this season. Coming up next, Kevin Nagandi of ESPN joins us. Tony Jones of The Athletic will join us at 9:30 to talk Sixers as we get ready for a big weekend. This update is brought to you by the Positive Coaching Alliance. Questions about youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, develops better athletes and better people through sports. Info at positivecoach.org. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and The Fanatic.
But first, let's hear what they got into earlier today on Kincade and Salciunas.
Right now, every game matters. And the Sixers have a really difficult stretch starting tonight with the Minnesota Timberwolves. They have a back-to-back, Pistons tomorrow. And then they have another difficult 2 games next week, Spurs Monday night, Rockets on Thursday. So 4 really, really tough games in a span of 6 days for the Sixers. And then the Flyers are outside looking in, but they're still pushing. So what do you believe is more likely to happen? Flyers make the playoffs, outside looking in right now, or the Sixers hold on to one of those top 6 seeds. They're tied with the Raptors right now because the Raptors didn't play us.
Flyers make the playoffs. I just don't like the math with the Sixers as far as I think the schedules are too easy for the others. I think the more likely, especially not knowing the commitment level of players to playing every night, my guess would be that the Flyers would sneak into the playoffs more than the Sixers would sneak into the 6th seed. I think the Sixers are going to be the 7th seed and have the opportunity to decide which home game to win.
Sure. I lean Sixers because more so the Raptors. The Raptors they're starting to plummet. They were the 5th seed, fighting for the 4th seed 3 weeks ago, and now all of a sudden they've dropped as far as the 7th seed.
Now back to the show.
That's some of the stuff we got into today. Sixers, Flyers, big night tonight for both teams. Flyers kicking the nuts night last night, losing to Detroit 4-2.
Didn't even Porter Martone give you like a real good, warm, fuzzy?
Look, I'm excited for the future. I just wouldn't mind seeing
it'd be great.
A playoff series for the Flyers. I'm not expecting Stanley Cup run. I just want
it'd be awesome.
I want to see it. I'm not expecting it. I want to see it. And last night was a kick in the nuts.
It was bad.
Both losses this week have been kicks in the nuts.
It was
considering everything that's gone their way around the league the other 2 days as well.
Everything went their way again.
And they lost. So they look to bounce back tonight against the Islanders. Sixers have a back-to-back tonight, Minnesota, tomorrow, Detroit, both at the Xfinity Mobile Arena. And I will ask our next guest the statement that I made. I'll ask the question if he will say it. Our man from ESPN, Kevin Negandhi, joins us. Kevin, first and foremost, good morning.
Good morning, fellas. How we doing?
You're so formal.
We're good, Kevin. And I have to ask you, it's not whether or not you want it. Are you going to demand Joel Embiid to play both games of a back-to-back after he missed the game Wednesday due to the bubonic plague?
Oh, yeah.
And they are holding on to that 6th seed for dear life, and they have a back-to-back. Would you demand Joel Embiid to play in both, Kevin?
No, I wouldn't demand any of that.
Come on, Kev.
Not at all. Listen, my approach for this Sixers team is, hey, let's just enjoy it while we can. Because to be honest with you, when we go with no expectations, we get surprised and we get pleased. And we're like, oh, wow. But the reality is, whether you get the 6th seed, potentially the Knicks, whether you get the 7th seed, not another series with the Celtics. Mm-hmm. Or if you potentially find your way seeing teams like you guys mentioned, the Raptors falling apart, and you jump to the 5th seed, you get the Cavaliers. Look at the history of the Sixers versus the Cavaliers in the last couple of years, and that's James Harden. So it's kind of like a pick your poison. So would you rather have a good, fun playoff experience, regardless of who they play, with Joel Embiid, or would you want to, hey, we've got to grind these next 2 games, let's get seeding, and then something where some freak thing happens and then you don't get to enjoy the series? My whole point with the Sixers team is that 25-game suspension actually with Paul George has worked out because he looks refreshed. He looks like 10 years younger, which we will take. Good Lord, this team needs some infusion of good news. And let's ruin somebody else's postseason. That's my whole viewpoint, especially what they've gone through and the injuries and how we never expect anything with this team. Let's just ruin somebody's postseason. I just don't want to see stinking Knicks fans fill up the Wells Fargo Center or whatever it's called now. I'm fed up with that, and I don't want to face the Celtics.
Well, Kev, I'm wondering if you're going to want to. Amy Fadul has wanted to throat punch me over a take that I had, but I want to share it with you. I am all for the Sixers if they end up in the 7th seed, picking their opponent, and I would take a Detroit Pistons team, dropping to the 8th seed, and take my chances with the Detroit Pistons. Because to me, I would say they are a team that is going to have Cade Cunningham probably out for half of the first-round series if projections are true. And I'd take my chances there over facing a Celtics in that series and being a 7th seed.
John, that is – I actually think that would be the way to go, but I also know that means if you're the 7th seed or the 8th seed, you're doing the play-in as well. But maybe there's a team that's lining up and thinking about doing that, like you guys just mentioned with the Raptors. Like, I don't think they're going to drop that far, but that makes the most sense because no one in the entire conference wants to face Boston. Not with Jason Tatum, right. Not with what they've done and how well they play. And I think Joe Mazzulla is an underrated coach, and they're just so sound, and they play great defense, and they all know their roles. It's just a really well put together roster with an identity.
So you don't want to be the 7 and win.
You don't want to be in that position because I think it's the Celtics' entire conference until they decide, no, we're not going to play our best basketball. I have no idea what we're going to get from the Knicks. And
So Kevin, then why wouldn't you go all in then? Like that's part of my reasoning of wanting Embiid to play 2 straight days, not because I want to see it. It's because I want them to hold on to that 6th seed. So if you want to avoid Boston,
why wouldn't I go all in? Why wouldn't I go all in? It's because Game 6 against the Celtics. It's what we have seen time and time again. It's just I am better off, for me personally, to follow this team with a sense of, hey, man, I don't have any expectations. Because the minute we have expectations, we sometimes get our hearts broken, especially with the ups and downs on availability in a postseason. So I'm looking at this as, hey, I wasn't expecting this in about 3 weeks ago where they were and the injuries, and I just want to make sure Edgecom has a great playoff experience. I want to make sure Maxey is healthy. Excuse my dog and his new stuffy toy in the background.
That's awesome.
That's kind of how I'm at right now with the team. And again, if they shock somebody, great. That would be fantastic. If they take a team, that's supposed to make a deep run, they take them 7 games, and there's a lot of things going wrong with the Knicks. Fantastic. Let's see what we got. But I'm protecting my fandom with this whole experience.
All right, fair enough. Phillies, Kevin, you're breaking my heart, Kev, because I
think he's just such a wise man.
I'm allowing myself for my heart to be broken, and
that's okay.
It's dumb.
Andrew,
It's dumb of me.
Andrew, you're much younger than me.
Exactly.
You need to get hurt a little bit more.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
That's a good point, Kevin. Phillies are now 3-3. We were asking the audience yesterday if they can hit the reset button on emotions, not expectations, but emotions, because you would think when they were 1-3, the season was over. They're now 3-3, so hopefully everybody's feeling better. But a question for you that we're asking our audience today. Do you believe this is the beginning of what could be a bad decline for Bryce Harper, or are you still expecting to see some magic from the player who may or may not be elite anymore?
I'm hoping to see magic. I know he's trying. It is scary, though, when you look at the numbers and the speed of his bat. And I don't know. Like, I'm hoping, but the crazy thing about all of this is that the struggle is real early in the season, and we haven't even gotten into the dog days of summer. That's when you kind of like feel sluggish. Beginning of the season, there's juice, right? There's a certain, hey, I've had a few months, I'm ready to go. That's what concerns me. To me, it is stark on the difference of seeing a guy like Painter save a game, seeing a guy like Crawford save a game, Sosa save a game. The energy that those 3 guys bring, I love it, man. I think there should be more energy like that around the team, instead, especially early in the season. And I hope those guys continue to do what they're doing, because the team definitely needs an idea of like, hey, let's have some fun a little bit. Why are we grinding after 6 games of the season? It shouldn't feel that way, I think, in April.
The most promising thing you've seen is?
Painter.
So much fun.
Painter, listen, if we need to, read the, writing on the wall, follow the breadcrumbs, clearly the Phillies' messaging to everybody in the offseason was starting pitching is our focus. And when they secure Luzardo, they secure Sanchez, Wheeler's coming back, and then you have Painter do what he just did, to me, it's going to be the golden age of Phillies pitching, and we've got to lean into that and understand that there may be some games that are going to be, 3-2, and you're holding your breath with the bullpen, but just the starters are phenomenal. And if we could just get any type of consistent hitting from the top 3 guys to jumpstart this offense and take some pressure off of people, batting 4th, 5th, and 6th, that would be great. And that works twofold, because when we have the top 3 guys hitting, We don't want it to be just 1, 2, and 3, and then all of a sudden the next 2 innings are going to be 3 and out with the next 6 batters. We don't want that either. So pitching is going to be the storyline, I think, specifically for this Phillies team, this organization over the next 2-3 years, the starting rotation.
Kevin, I have a national sports question for you, something that we discussed.
What would he know about national sports? What does this guy do for a living?
Something that we discussed in the previous segment before you came on. Tom Haberstroh, who covers the NBA for Yahoo, did a big breakdown on all the nationally televised games this year. So ABC, ESPN, NBC, Peacock, Amazon Prime. There have been 220 games. Less than a third of those games included the star that was supposed to be in that game. So obviously ESPN takes a hit for that because you want to promote, watch Luka Doncic and the Lakers take on Joel Embiid and the Sixers, but there's a lot of times where you don't get that. How does that get fixed by the league, Kevin?
Hey, listen, Andrew, if I had that answer, I think I would be in New York City with some executives because Adam Silver's been trying. He's been trying to figure it out. His messaging has been specifically, you got to play a certain amount of games if you want to win certain awards. It's going to be a big challenge. They have not been able to figure this out over the years. Now, listen, I'm going to add this, too. The postseason is going to be absolutely incredible.
Right.
I think this
especially out
postseason
west
is going to be magical. Like, I really think it's going to be magical. The idea of shortening the season, you're taking money out of everybody's pocket. But the reality is the dollars spent by these networks and these streaming platforms is because people want to see stars. There's no question about it. That's the big question of, hey, who's going to play and when you're going to play? And maybe it comes down to how you're going to schedule games. And are you scheduling back-to-backs with teams that are playing that second game of a back-to-back that have big stars? That's a huge question. Right. I can tell you one thing. I'm not going to answer your question, but I can tell you one thing. If Victor Wembanyama is going to play on the national stage, he's going to play. Now, he didn't play last night because of some ankle issues that they want to make sure he's okay at 22, but the guy understands the platform and wants to be in the MVP conversation and knows he can only miss a small amount of games. Same conversation that you're having with Luka and Jokic. So they all understand that they have to hit that 65-game threshold and Shea to win the MVP. I'm talking about 4 guys that are in that MVP conversation. So you bring up 65 games. Do you need to modify it now and say you've got to play a minimum of, 60 games? Those kind of things may help shape stuff. But by dropping it to 65 and taking 17 games of that leeway, right, it still hasn't changed the discourse of, are we watching our stars on major platforms? That's a problem. Yep. But guess what? I think everybody's going to forget about it the moment we start getting some phenomenal first-round series games that are going to carry us all the way through into June.
Yep, absolutely. All right, one more thing, because I forgot to ask you about this last week. John, do you know the big documentary that's dropping on April 6th, 3 days from now?
Is it the expose on Kevin DeGandy's life in Phoenixville?
Well, it might include it.
Because I heard Netflix is working on it.
It might include it. I'm not sure. Kevin, Sports Heaven, the birth of ESPN, drops Monday, April 6th. Do you have any insight on it? Because everybody that's a sports fan has put on ESPN at least once in their lifetime, right? At least once.
Yeah.
It's really cool. It's Monday at 8:30. Tell us a little bit about it.
To be honest with you, we've seen some previews and clips, and I just smile when I see legendary people like, Bob Lee is a good friend and a mentor, and to see him back on ESPN is pretty special. I love Boomer. Boomer and Bob have been so kind to me and gracious, and just so many guys that built, Bill Rasmussen, who, him and his son, who are the guys that started ESPN. It was just genuine DNA ESPN guys through the years that understand the culture of who we are and what our purpose was, and that's to serve the sports fan. And I mean, that mantra continues. We still believe in it. I believe in it on the 6 p.m. Sports Center. By the way, side note, 6 p.m. Sports Center just had the best March in the history of the 6 p.m. as we were up 31%. So I'm just proud of, hey, as things change and people find different avenues for entertainment, they come back to us. They understand that we're still the gold standard. We set the bar. And if you've ever watched a sports highlight, that means you've watched SportsCenter over the last, or ESPN over the last 40 years. And that's who we are. That's the identity, and that's the backbone in our DNA. And I think on this documentary, we're going to talk a lot about that, hey, understand that the DNA is still there, and the documentary focuses on the growth of sports entertainment and the role that ESPN played in documenting that, as well as being a part of it.
That's awesome, Kevin. Well, we'll be checking it out. It's really cool. Obviously, love the network. Love having you on. We appreciate the time as always, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, buddy.
Hey, fellas, I appreciate no Eagles questions. Have a great weekend.
You're welcome, Kevin. There he is, Kevin Negandhi, joining us here on Kincade Salciunas. John Kincade, September 7th, 1979 was when ESPN was founded.
I remember it.
Tell us about the day, because
I don't remember the day. It was. I've seen the clips.
First thing was a college football game, I remember.
I remember I remember George Grand, though George Grand was one of the first SportsCenter hosts, and I think George Grand was the first guy.
Okay.
And George Grand was one of the original SportsCenter hosts. He was excellent. He was really, really good. I remember Sweet Lou Palmer. How about that? Sweet Lou Palmer was one of the original SportsCenter hosts.
They didn't name a drink after him.
They called him Sweet Lou. He was great. He was one of the original SportsCenter hosts. Tom Mees, who later died in a tragic accident, was one of the original hosts. Tom Mees from Broomall, Pennsylvania, was one of the original SportsCenter hosts. Chris Berman. So I can remember all the original SportsCenter guys, because there wasn't that many of them.
Right.
And
I mean, how big was that? Because think about it, like you were only local, really.
But when they launched it, it wasn't like when they launched it, it was a big deal that people were like, oh my gosh, this is starting.
Yeah.
But all I remember is, honestly, SportsCenter was a big deal because people were like, this is cool. Australian rules football. I think if anybody's my age, they would remember ESPN seemed to always be airing Australian rules football.
What was it, the Ocho?
No. This was the main network. Connor, they had such little programming. And here's the thing they used to do, and you may even remember this from when you were children. They would tape a SportsCenter at 2:30 in the morning, at like 2 in the morning. It used to be Chris Berman and Tom Mees. And Tom Mees and Chris Berman did the 2 o'clock in the morning SportsCenter. It aired from 6 a.m. to like 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. Eastern. Over and over again.
The loop, right.
Over and over again. That was like 5 hours of programming, so you could watch the same SportsCenter over and over. That's how Chris Berman became so huge, because he did like one of the worst spots. He was one of their lowest guys.
Yeah.
When ESPN launched, and because of the redoing, he was the person everybody saw.
Right.
And he had the nicknames, and he was the first one of them that went off script and did all the weird stuff.
Yeah.
And became huge.
Oh, huge.
Back. And the key
second
became
one wasn't
huge
so
with
good.
that.
You like the second one?
No, the first one was all right. The second one was a little cracky.
There you go.
All right,
we'll work on it.
I remember all of
Berman
them.
impression.
I remember the old SportsCenter. SportsCenter used to have a theme song too that was not the same as it is today.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
Dude, how about that?
Yes.
All right, coming up next. Why did Embiid not play on Wednesday, and will he play in the back-to-back? Tony Jones, he covers the Sixers. Was there a quiet suspension the other day? He joins us next. Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Let's say you're getting ready to move, or you're finally going to clean out that garage, which you should have done years ago, Joe. Or you've got that attic that just needs to finally get junk out of it. Well, go get yourself a Bagster. The dumpster in a bag, and it's just $29.99. Go get yourself a Bagster this weekend. You don't have to use it. It's Easter weekend. You don't want to use it this weekend, but then it'll motivate you to finally clean out that garage or be able to get all that junk out of the house. Here's how easy it is. You buy it. You set it up at your convenience, and I can tell you, if I can set up a Bagster, I know that you can. And then you're going to fill it. And then you schedule the collection, and it'll be gone. There's no time limits. It's completely on demand. So all you have to do is go to thebagster.com and find the store nearest you where you can go pick up the Bagster. It's so simple, and you've been putting it off. Well, spring cleaning, it's actually a thing, guys. It's not just a cliche. So why don't you do it this year? You're going to spend $29.99. You're going to get yourself a Bagster. You're going to get one because they're the dumpster in a bag.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
A missed opportunity for the Flyers. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Flyers came up short against the Red Wings last night, 4-2. The final score. Tyson Forster did make his return from injury. He hasn't played since December 1st. Scored a goal in his first game back, but the Flyers, not enough for them to find a victory. They are still just 2 points out of a playoff spot, so they have another big game tonight. Islanders on the road, a 7 p.m. puck drop. You can hear that game live over on WMMR. The Sixers, they've got a huge weekend. Big back-to-back starting tonight. Minnesota Timberwolves in town, a 7 p.m. tip-off. You can hear that game live here on the Fanatic. Then it's the Detroit Pistons tomorrow night. Joel Embiid still dealing with an illness, so his status in question. We'll keep an eye on that. We'll talk to Tony Jones of The Athletic coming up next on the latest for Embiid and the Sixers. VJ Edgecom named Rookie of the Month in the Eastern Conference earlier this week. The Phillies, they've got a 3-game series out in Colorado. They're mile high right now against the Rockies. First pitch at 4:10 p.m. Aaron Nola faces Michael Lorenzen. We'll keep an eye on that as the Phillies look to build on the walk-off winner they had to round out the series with the Nationals. And the Union, they're trying to just build a win. They play the Charlotte FC, I should say, tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. They're still searching for their first MLS win this season. This update is brought to you by Mothers Against Drunk Driving. For victims of drunk and drug driving, your grief is unique, but you are not alone. You always have a place at MADD. Call the 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MADD-HELP or visit MADD.org. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
97.5, The Fanatic.
The final hour of Kincade Salciunas is presented to you by The Bagster. It's a dumpster in a bag. You can get yours today at Home Depot and Lowe's. You need details? Go to Bagster.com.
All right, it's 9:30 here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic. By the way, shout out to our man Dylan. Not Dylan McKinnon, but
who's our man Dylan then?
One of our fine listeners, Dylan, who is a great teacher in the Jersey area for band, which
musically inclined.
Look, God bless you. That's
what I say.
That is patience. Like I watch the coaches at T-ball. That's patience. Something that I do not have.
Yeah, that's why he's a big fan of the show, because he's deaf
and he's patient. So shout out to our man Dylan, who's here today. He came out to the Yards event that I threw a couple months ago, back in December. So shout out to Dylan for being here today. All right, joining us now from The Athletic, our man Tony Jones. We have a lot of questions for Tony.
I got tons of them.
Tony,
what's
up, man? Good morning.
Wait a minute, we got questions?
Yeah, we got questions, and you're gonna give us the answers.
That sounds like when my daughter tells me something sketchy.
Well,
Tony, like, I got questions.
All right, well, I got questions. Was Joel Embiid quietly benched the other night?
Not that I know of. And for what it's worth, he's currently listed as doubtful to play tonight with the same illness. I've seen now the caveat to that is I've seen Joel Embiid this year go from doubtful to available over the course of a day. It's not terribly typical. It's one of those things that we actually the media corps that covers the Sixers, we actually kind of inquired about throughout the day. And we were talking to, the Sixers because it was pretty strange, right? Even though it was April Fool's Day, the first tweet and then the second tweet, well, I guess they're not letting me play today. I kind of think it's one of those things that, Joel kind of does where, he's kind of trolling a little bit. That's what I'd like to think, but for sure, it caused me and a couple of other writers some consternation over the course of the day because the bosses of our outlets were basically like, okay, what's going on here? So, it was definitely a strange thing, but the fact that he's still listed as doubtful with the same illness instead of all the way from out to available over the course of 24 hours still leads me to believe that he's still actually ill, if that makes sense.
I'm telling you, it's amazing, especially when he said they're not going to let me play the other night. And now 48 hours later, he's still going to be doing that. It's how serious do you think this team is about making sure that they grab the 6th seed or giving it their best effort?
Well, I think they, they're, obviously serious because, you want to win and, I think there's stuff on the line, beyond this season, with this team. So I think that this, I think that if you're looking at, the coaching staff and the front office and, the players themselves, they want to end this season, on as good a note as possible or end the regular season on as good a note as possible. And there, even, between the 6th and the 7th seed, there are some major differences because if you're the 6th seed, you get a week off, obviously, and you're probably going to get the New York Knicks or the Cleveland Cavaliers. And that's a series that if you're the Sixers, if you're healthy, you have a puncher's chance of winning. If you get the 7th seed, you're getting the Boston Celtics. And if I were in the play-in and I were the Sixers, I'd honestly rather have the 8th seed than the 7th seed because I don't think the Sixers can beat the Celtics, and I don't think the Sixers can beat the Pistons either. I wouldn't favor them, but at least they'd have at least a puncher's chance of winning that series against the Pistons. I don't think they have a puncher's chance of beating Boston. I think Boston just beats them. Even if, the Sixers come into that series, they play to their ceiling. They play great basketball. Boston still probably wins that series. If you're the Sixers and you get the Knicks and you play to 100% of your ability, you have a chance of winning that series. Same thing with the Cavaliers. Same thing on a lesser scale with the Pistons. But Boston is probably the one team that you're not beating probably no matter what. So I think if you're the Sixers, you definitely want that 6 seed as opposed to having to go through the headache of trying to qualify for the playoffs and the play-in.
All right, so let's talk about that 6 seed. To get it, you obviously have to keep on winning basketball games. The Sixers got a gift with the Raptors losing to the Kings earlier this week. Forget the illness for a second and Embiid being listed as doubtful. Tony, do you see a world in 2026 where Joel Embiid would play both games of a back-to-back at this point of the season, knowing what is on the line with the 6 seed? You have tonight and tomorrow, and then you have the Thursday, Friday next week, 9th and 10th. Would Joel Embiid play in either of those back-to-backs if we forget about the illness factor?
I still don't see it. I still, I'll believe that Joel Embiid's playing both sides of a back-to-back when I actually see him on the floor on both sides of the back-to-back. I think that, he's made, there are lines that are just not going to be crossed in terms of his health, whether it's the regular season, whether, there's, the 6 seed on the line in the regular season or not. So I don't expect him to play on both sides of the back-to-back, certainly on this one, because obviously he's listed as doubtful. But if he, if he went from doubtful to available tonight for some reason and played tonight, I wouldn't expect him to play tomorrow, and I don't expect him to play both sides of the back-to-back next week. Now, the question for me would be next week, which side of the back-to-back do you play? Because there's a big difference between playing at Houston and at Indiana. Typically this season, if the medical staff has had their druthers, they would want Joel Embiid to get 2 days off between games, if they can, when it comes to a back-to-back. So that means, let's say Joel Embiid actually plays on Monday night against the San Antonio Spurs. If that were the case, and they're actually two days off between the Spurs and the Rockets, but typically if there were 1 day off between the Spurs and the Rockets, they would have him not play against the Rockets and then play against the Indiana Pacers the next night. So even though they're actually 2 days off between Monday and Thursday for the Rockets, let's see if they have him play against the Rockets, which is the more important game in my eyes.
Man, the mathematical equation that is Joel Embiid. It's unbelievable. Tony, we appreciate
Great
the time
honesty,
as always,
Tony.
man. Maybe one day we'll see Joel Embiid playing a back-to-back. I'm not going to hold my breath, though, I guess. All right, thanks, Tony.
Thanks, Tone.
I appreciate you guys as always.
There he is, Tony Jones from The Athletic. Great year one for Tony with the Sixers
really
coverage.
well.
He was with Utah for a while, so now he's with the Philadelphia 76ers, and it's been great. And it's just the way that it is with JoJo.
And it's, again, now, okay, are you in any way, this doesn't move you at all. You're willing to, you are the abused spouse. You're willing to just let him pull all this crap over and over again. You're just signing up for it.
It's not just him, it's the team. Right?
Yeah, this is bigger than just a Joel Embiid thing.
This year, he has been the one calling a lot of the shots. But this isn't the first year he hasn't been playing in back-to-backs.
No, I mean, this is him. This is his decision. This is his dedication. This is his.
Yeah, he's really good basketball player when he's healthy and on the court.
But he's not. But, well, we can't do that because that's already shifted. We know he's not because you're not going to get a lot of that. You're not getting a lot of that.
He just got the sniffles. He's going to be okay.
And then the sniffles keeps him out. Cold medicine, the other night. Yeah. Well, he's got cold medicine.
Well, that was why Connor didn't do well in knockout.
Yeah, man, it's tough on all of us.
Remember
But I mean, it's honestly, it's in this relationship, you are the abused spouse.
Yeah, sucks.
And
but his husband's really hot. But Joel Embiid is a very talented basketball player.
That's great if he was dedicated and really into wanting to be a part of it. Yeah,
I hesitate to go to dedication fully. I think the bigger problem is availability,
which he is controlling.
Well, they're going to be in, and he'll play in the postseason. We'll see where it goes.
Great. Fingers crossed.
Show up when he wants to.
All right, coming up next, we got to close out the poll today, so we'll do that. But what does Vegas think of today? We have 3 teams in that. Phillies afternoon in Colorado, and then the Flyers and Sixers start at the same time. We give you the lines for all 3. Can there be a Philadelphia 3-for-3 parlay today? Check it next. Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
app.
Hey, we're back here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, the Fanatic app, YouTube channel. We got it all. You can watch the show at any point. Even when the show's over, you can do that. And, of course, you can continue watching the next show. Middays with Marks comes your way at 10 o'clock.
Wait till you see John's getup.
Oh, yeah. I was told. I have not seen it. I was told about it. I also saw Ray. Ray looks like he's about to go to the Italian market afterwards.
Jumpsuit Friday.
Now, we would say the tuxedo where we wear the two different sports teams?
Yeah, this Philly tuxedo.
If you would be in Forsyth County, Georgia, where I used to live, what John is wearing today, you would see many times a year.
Okay.
Very high end, like a Cabela's.
Oh yeah, sure.
Or I think so, John, but very high end. Looks good. Looks good.
That's good.
Surprised you could even see him. He was blending right in.
I mean, it's unbelievable. I think that they're probably going to have some livestock for lunch.
Yes. Well, you can't hunt while you're doing the show.
No, I think he did.
Friday.
No, I think
Can't
he
eat
came. I think he came right from the duck blind.
Oh, maybe. Well, you can eat fish. Maybe he went. Maybe he.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
You've never seen the camouflaged boats?
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe you went fishing.
You could do that.
Maybe. I'd like to go fishing. Nice day for it.
You like fishing, eh?
I like everything.
There we go.
Does the Philadelphia money line parlay hit today? Philadelphia Phillies, big favorites against Michael Lorenzen and the Rockies, -200 on the money line. The Mr. Nola on the bump.
Yeah, they win today.
Philadelphia 76ers, favorites tonight.
Okay, this doesn't make sense to me.
So it must mean they know that Embiid's playing. That's my guess.
Minnesota doesn't play well here. Trust me.
They really
I go
don't.
to all the games, and I can't tell you the last time I saw the Timberwolves
Are
come
you saying
here.
Timberwolves are all teams? Because I don't think many Minnesota teams play well here.
They're also not that good.
Like that NFC Championship game.
The Timberwolves are good, but
Yeah, Timberwolves are, yeah.
I don't know.
But the Sixers are the favorites. So I would imagine that means Joel Embiid's playing tonight. If Vegas knows, they're -138 on the money line. They're 2.5-point favorites tonight's game in Philadelphia. That's just if we're doing line reading. I don't read it as much as you do, Johnny, but that would be my read on the line.
Paul
That's
George,
interesting.
40-point game. You never know.
Maybe. He came close to it the other night. And then the Flyers, dogs, but not by much, +122, and they're on the road. So
Okay, you got to bet the Flyers tonight because you just have to.
You have to, and it's a desperation game.
Because it's desperation. So if you think they have anything in them, then tonight's the night.
$10 wager gets you $47.43 on
Okay.
the Philadelphia money line parlay today.
I love that.
Now, if you wanted to go run line for the Phillies to juice it up a little bit, let's go -1.5. That $10 bet, it gives you $9 more, $56. Up to you if you want to do it. I always go money line. The run line freaks me out.
You always go money line?
Yeah,
run line's so stupid in baseball.
Run line, I'm telling you, the worst sport for me to bet is baseball.
Yeah, it's hard. Because a guy can have a bad day.
Paul
Skeens opening day didn't get out of the first inning. You know what I mean? Like, that's how crazy that sport is. You just got to get hot at the right time.
One bounce here, one bounce there.
Yeah, Dave Dombrowski, Salciunas.
You make a throw to the other side of the plate.
Oh, God. By the way, so I'm out next week. Not that you've heard me mention that at all today. But starting Monday morning, Fanatic Parlay Cash. Check it out. Your chance to win $1,000 5 times a day. Because I'm out, I can't pony up my $1,000. Because this comes out of our pockets.
Only if someone from our show wins.
So, yeah,
Read
exactly.
the fine print, yeah.
So that's why we're only doing it one time a day. We only have it at 8 a.m. Middays with Marks has it at 10 and 12, and then Unfiltered has it at 3 and 5. I did sorry, I'm not going to be around. I got to dip out, so I can't put my money into it.
It's okay. I've been saving up for months, so I got you covered.
Okay. So that starts Monday, April 6th. You'll
That's
have
25
good, you got me
covered
minutes
too?
after the hour. Fanatic Parlay Cash, it's not brought to us by. It's stood up by Iron Mountain Men's Health.
That's a stiff gift.
Is helping everybody. He's helping your wallet, and he's helping what's inside the pants. What do we have
Lord.
on the poll?
That's incredible. Now you're just taking it to a level.
Well, where do you look? You normally put your wallet.
Our poll today.
We have
thank you, Connor.
You know?
I'm steering you out of that one. What is the more likely scenarios the winter team's playoff pushes continue? The Sixers hold on to the 6th seed or the Flyers make the playoffs? 79% of responders are saying Sixers hold on to the 6th seed. Our second poll.
Yeah, dueling polls today.
Bryce Harper currently ranks 235th in baseball in exit velocity. Do you believe he will turn it around, or is this the beginning of a decline? 38% saying he'll turn it around. 62% saying beginning of a decline.
What do we have on the Davis Honda text line? Feel the Davis difference. Check them out in Burlington. We asked the question, hey, if you're saying decline, is it, to John's point, decline from elite to above average? Or is there people out there that are like, no, decline, like this is going to be really bad? And if it's really bad, we had VT Ron texted in earlier, believes he'll be an average baseball player this year. If he is average, they're not making the playoffs. So what do we got?
It's fair. We have a check-in here on the Bryce conversation from Mike in Virginia, who says, I'm not panicking on Bryce. He'll be fine. Just not Superman. A slow decline from elite is normal. He's 33 and has had some injuries. I'm more worried for what it means for the Phillies. They built a team that relies on him being Superman and in no way planned for a dip. It's more a Phillies thing than a Bryce thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I just think that is with Bryce is that, look, I think Bryce has went from being elite, but I still think Bryce is still going to be in that really, really good category, and I think he's going to come around.
Oh yeah,
hopefully
that swing the other day does it.
I just think Bryce Harper is a guy though who's not going to let himself have a cliff. You know what I mean? I think he's one of those guys that he's going to get in the lab and he's going to.
Yeah.
And I do worry that he's being too hard on himself. So
yeah, I think a lot of it's mental more than physical ability. By the way, the Phillies run line tonight, the over under. Sorry. You guys want to take a guess on the total? Colorado.
9.5.
An even 10.
Oh, my.
First 5 innings.
Well, it's because of the two pitchers.
First 5 innings, what do you believe the over-under is?
6.5.
John, you want to take a guess?
5.5.
It is 5.5. The under the favorite, by the way.
Really?
Which is interesting.
I don't believe that.
Because
I'd go over.
The over total is the favorite. So they're expecting more runs, but they're expecting them more in the latter half of the game.
Yeah, that's a smart bet. Have you watched the Phillies play baseball this year?
Yeah, that's true.
They don't score early.
But if I look at the two pitchers, Nola Lorenzen, I'm expecting,
I'm expecting
earlier,
you got
Bob
shut down
Burson
by
there.
Foster Griffin and
who isn't
PJ
even a
Poulin.
By the way, Foster Griffin is a character in The Young and the Restless, I believe.
Is he?
I think he really is. I think, I have to see. Have to check.
That guy doesn't exist. By the way, we've not mentioned it on the air.
What's that?
You played the highlight. He played the highlight during the break. Garrett Stubbs. Could he fix the lineup? Garrett Stubbs is a home run, his first at bat in Triple A.
Stop it.
Look, I'm just saying the Phillies lineup's been struggling. We have Cole Weintraub writing articles about how Kyle Schwarber should be batting leadoff.
Maybe Garrett Stubbs should be batting leadoff.
Yeah, maybe Garrett Stubbs, top of the order. We're 6 games into the season. We're already talking about lineup changes. So maybe Garrett Stubbs does it.
Everyone take a deep breath over this weekend. Enjoy Easter.
I love it.
Maybe realize it's still very early.
I sent out a nice little tweet from the show, getting everybody ready in the Easter spirit, with a really nice picture of the Easter bunny with two little children.
I remember that picture.
And so it's the most horrifying Easter picture ever.
I don't blame you for crying in that picture.
And
dude.
it's a scary picture. It's awesome.
It's terrifying.
There you go.
All right, everybody have a great weekend. YouTube, I'm going to miss you guys. I'm out for a week, so I will miss you. All right, I love seeing the nice things that you guys say every single day. I miss you guys so much. Johnny, Connor,
have a good one, buddy.
You guys are going to do great next week. What do you got? You got Amy in twice, Andrew in twice?
Yeah, Andrew will be in Monday and Thursday. Amy's in Tuesday and Friday.
The hell you guys going to do Wednesday?
Not sure if you heard. There's a couple playoff pushes going on, so we're going to have everything you need to know about Sixers Flyers.
Damn right you guys will. All right, everybody have a great Easter holiday weekend, and they'll talk to you Monday. I'll talk to you later. See you.